A very warm welcome to our Tampines Hub for this blockbuster clash. The biggest match of the AIA Singapore Premier League season so far, as league leaders Tampines Rovers take on big spenders, the Lion City Sailors. We have a big match coming up, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm glad to say that 2011 league winner with the Stags, Syukur Zailan, is with me for this fantastic game. How much are you looking forward to this one?
Well, Duncan, if this is not one of the biggest clash, I would say this is the biggest clash for this season. I'm looking forward to this.
Would you say that either of these two teams will be lifting the title at the end of the season, or are we discounting already DPMM, Albrecht Negata and Geylang International, who have performed well in recent weeks?
Well, Duncan, I think these two teams have the abilities to be the champion for this season. We'll see how it goes for a few more games to come. But definitely these two teams that are playing today, they're going to be top three, definitely.
Top three, and are we perhaps going to see today a contender versus a pretender? How much hinges on the result today?
We'll see who is the better team today. I am hoping that it'll be an end-to-end stuff. I hope they're going to play open football instead of holding back, so that it'll be more entertaining for the viewers at home.
Household names on both sides as well. Lion City Sailors packed with national team players. What kind of match are you expecting today?
Like I said, I'm expecting a high-intensity game, end-to-end stuff. The goal, I wouldn't say it'll be a lot, but I think there'll be goals, definitely. But yeah, the intensity will be definitely high, I hope.
A big storyline today is, of course, the return of Shahdan Sulaiman to our Tampines Hub. Gavin Lee built a team around him last season. They did well. They won the cup, finished second in the league, and have Lion City Sailors weaken Tampines Rovers by bringing him over to Bishan Stadium.
I doubt so, because I think anybody can fill in Shahdan's position, because as you can see, we have Shahiran, we have younger players coming in to fill in, like Joel, all these kind of players. I think it's their time to shine, you know, and I think this is their shot to be a better player. For Shahdan, of course, he'll be happy moving on, but of course, it's up to Tampines whether or not today they're gonna shut Shahdan down.
They did look to replace Shahdan Sulaiman in the off-season, bringing in Albrecht Negata midfielder Kyoga Nakamura. Have you been impressed with him so far? Has he done even better than you expected him to do?
Well, so far I am impressed with him, with his talent. I think he gives the team a lot of energy, very skillful, a lot of fluidity and flair. So I am impressed with his performance so far.
It's been a fortress for Tampines Rovers at our Tampines Hub. One defeat in the last 18 matches right here at OTH. Why have they been so good here?
Well, I think it's a home ground advantage, even though, like we've discussed before, home and away doesn't make a difference. But I remember playing in the old Tampines Stadium, we were quite solid playing at home because of the stands over here and the opposite side. And we always have full house, a lot of supporters coming to support us. So I think it's one of the strengths that Tampines have playing at home. They familiarize with the pitch and of course the fans. Unfortunately today there's no fans, so I think they are familiarized with the ground so far.
Lion City Sailors were called Hougang United last season, and they did not enjoy one bit coming to OTH and playing against Tampines Rovers. They lost 5-1 in the corresponding fixture last season, and over the 4 games they played against each other last season, Tampines won on an aggregate of 15-3. Is that something in the back of the mind of the former Hougang United players who are now Lion City players?
Well, I think definitely Coach Aurelio Verma will look into the scoreline, but then again, last year Lion City Sailors have few changes in the coaching staff. So I think that affects the performance of the players, and of course, this is something Aurelio Verma looking to improve or not to win the games today.
We saw Lion City Sailors against Tanjong Pagar United 12 days ago, so it's been a very long time. They did decently well in terms of performance. Aurelio Verma alluded to that in the pre-match. But is there signs that if they do click, they can be a fantastic team?
Yeah, of course. I think it takes time for players to have chemistry and gel with each other. We can see that there is potential for this team to go far and be very, very good as a unit. So I think only playing one game so far is too early to tell, but I hope that they will do well in games to come.
Yeah, touching on that, Lion City Sailors have only played one game this season so far. Tampines Rovers have played 9. How will that impact the game today?
Definitely, Tampines have the upper hand. The momentum has been, keep going and going. Unlike Lion City Sailors, they only play 1, but they have more rest period. So it's still early to say. I would think that Tampines have to do some squad rotation, but we'll see later on the first 11 how it goes.
Oh, fascinating match that's coming up right here at OTH that is played, of course, behind closed doors, but precautions are still being taken with players going through temperature checks. Barbara Latimer was downstairs at pitchside to see what the situation really is.
Here at our Tampines hub, every measure that can be taken place is being taken place. We've got the Lion City Sailors, they're doing the contact tracing. They've also getting their temperatures checked. I've got mine, I've written mine down as well. So this way we can ensure that everyone who comes into the stadium is here because they are a necessary personnel. All these measures are being put in place for all the matches given that they are now closed door. But it's really, really great that all these different things are being put in place to ensure the safety of not just the players, but everyone who's involved.
Yeah, Barbara doing her bit. So have I. I've got the sticker to prove that I've done the temperature check and I've done my contact tracing. All, of course, responsible times right now here in the Singapore Premier League. All right, temperature hotting up though inside the stadium for this encounter between Tampines Rovers and Lion City Sailors. Lineups coming up after this short break. Both teams just about finishing their warm-ups here ahead of this big clash at our Tampines hub between Tampines Rovers and Lion City Sailors. Top of the table, Tampines Rovers, well, they just played on Saturday. They must be used to the rigors of the match, playing every couple of days. How do you think they're going to fare today?
Well, I think looking at the last game that they played, I predict the wrong score. I hope that they're going to be tired and all. So it looks like they are able to adapt this kind of schedule. So I think they will do well today.
You did mention squad rotation, very important for Gavin Lee. They've done that today. 3 changes to the Tampines Rovers lineup that played against Tanjung Pagar United. Amirul Hadli, Hamizan and Zerudin Mehmedovic returned to the Stag squad. How will they strengthen the team?
They definitely are going for the win today. I would say you can look at the first 11. with Mehmedovic back, Kyoga, and Amru Adli, I think they are really going for the result today.
A bit of a question mark on how they will line up. It does look to be Shah, Amirul and Nakamura in midfield. Is that a decision by Gavin to put Amirul in midfield and perhaps just make that midfield a little bit more stronger?
Well, I believe so. I think he put Amirul there to strengthen the line, the midfield line. And it's not a new position for him. I think he has played in that position before last season as well. So I think he can play whatever position Gavin put him in.
No Taufik, no Yasser and no Madu for Gavin Lee, but he is in good spirits as he caught up with Barbara Latimer.
I'm back again with the head coach of Tampines Rovers. We've got another game in sight, Gavin. How has it been in terms of both preparation and recovery, given that you guys have been playing back-to-back?
Yeah, I think we've sort of got into a routine where we play a game every 4 days or 3 days. So, you know, when your body is kind of used to the cyclic nature of things, I think the boys are as fresh as we can be and we are ready to go.
Do you think they've kind of gotten used to constantly having to play another game after another game after another game?
Yeah, definitely. I think the bulk of the boys were in a similar position last year. So this is not new for them, and we trust that our process has allowed the players to be at their best today.
And so Lion City Sailors, they've only played one competitive fixture this season. Do you see that as an advantage for you guys?
No, it can go both ways, right? First of all, you can argue that we might not be as fresh as them, or you might argue that we have more momentum than them. So I don't know how it goes. So I'm just excited for the game to start, and let's see where we go with that.
And it's going to be quite interesting because Shadan's in the picture and he was an integral part of your team over the last few seasons. So what do you think we're going to see today on that aspect?
No, yeah, Shadan's a good player. We all know that, but our game revolves around us, and it's about us stamping our game into them and impose ourselves as much as we can and not really focus on them too much.
Awesome. Do you think in any way you have an advantage because we're back on home territory?
Home game is always nice, so we go out there and do it for all our fans online watching around the stadium as well.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see the match. Let's go for it.
Now, Gavin Lee playing his cards close to his chest. Boris Kopitovic, though, will lead the line for Tampines Rovers. Again, are we expecting him to get on the score sheet?
Yeah, I'm expecting him to score today, along with Jordan Webb. I hope he scored goals today because last game was both goals scored by Jordan. So yeah, I think he have the ability to score goals.
It has been Kopitovic and Webb getting the goals for Tampines Rovers, and it's something that Lion City Sailors will definitely have to look out for. And they've made a change to strengthen that backline of theirs. Abdil Kaim returns in one change for Lion City Sailors. In comes Abdil, out goes Tajali Salamat. Just the one change for Lion City Sailors, but look at that. They look very, very strong indeed.
Yep, I agree. I think Abdil is no stranger to the league. He's an experienced centre-back. I think he will do a good job marking Boris, definitely.
Pengeli, Hafiz Noor and Haikal Pasha will lead the line for Lion City Sailors. You happy with that front line, or would you perhaps like to see Shariel or Izdin or Ikram in there?
Well, I think for now I'm happy with these three at the front. I mean, Shariel is another player that will come in and do something for the team. But at the moment, I think these three is doing a good job. And again, I think Coach Aurelio Verma is trying to get these players' chemistry going, to gel, and hope results will produce by these three.
Saifullah Akbar also an option off the bench for Lion City Sailors. All right, so how does Aurelio Vidma feel ahead of this match on our Tampines Hub pitch? Barbara Latimer is standing by with the Lion City Sailors head coach.
I've got with me the head coach of the Lion City Sailors, Aurelio. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, really good. I think we've had a really nice preparation, although it's a little bit longer from our last game, 12 days. But yeah, preparation's been quite good and a very important game for us tonight.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. So it's been 12 days since the last match happened. What has the preparation been like in terms of, the gear up to this match in particular?
Yeah, well, it's obviously a little bit longer than normal, but yeah, we've had a normal training session leading up to. We've had an internal trial as well, just to keep us as much as we can match sharpness. So yeah, I think it's been an ideal preparation.
And what are your thoughts on all the matches now being closed-door events?
Well, I think the health and safety of every person in Singapore is paramount. Yeah, it's. I think a game like this, is always a special game, and you'd want the fans to appreciate a nice game. But as I said, the safety is paramount.
And do you think it's going to affect the players in any way on the pitch?
Look, I don't think so. I think once the game gets started, most of the time once the games do start, you forget about the crowd and you focus what's happening in between the white lines there. So I don't think today we're going to be any different.
And so you guys have only played one match so far, whereas Tampines Rovers, they kind of have a leg up on that. They're already top of the table, but because they've played 3 matches, do you think that this is at all going to pose a challenge for your guys?
Yeah, I think firstly our season's been a bit of a stop-start. Our first game against Brunei was postponed, so we had an extra week of pre-season. We played our first game against Tanjong Pagar, and now we've had this 12 days, and after this game we then have another 2 weeks off. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a stop-start. We really can't get momentum, but in saying that, we've prepared very, very well. We have every single player fit and available, so yeah, that's all we can do now. It's up to the players to go out to the pitch and perform.
That's amazing. Well, I'm excited to see the match. All the best.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, 12 days since Lion City Sailors played their first match of the season against Tanjong Pagar United. Hasn't been a very smooth start for them. What can you do as a head coach to just get your team going, knowing that it's a very long break before the next game?
Well, I think he planned his preparation properly. I would think that he's professional enough to entertain and keep players happy. So I think so far I've seen if you have long breaks, you train according to the week, and then you will taper down as the games approaching. So I think he will go a lot of fitness conditioning for the first 5 days, and then for the next 5 days, probably a two days off in between, and then they're going to work again for the game.
He did mention they did play a trial game, an internal one, but it's different playing in the Singapore Premier League live on TV and then playing an internal one at Bishan Stadium. How does it differ, getting up for a big match and then just trying to give your best in a friendly match?
Well, I think friendly match is, like I said, I think it's more to see players individually and then to tell them what they went wrong, what they need to do things right for the game. So this is what the internal game probably is for.
Yeah. And I think he had a closer look at, of course, Gabriel Quack as well, who played for Warriors FC last season, was the captain for Warriors FC, had a great season with the Singapore national team, but now with Lion City Sailors and playing in a different position, Shuko. We know him as a winger, flying winger, Ryan Giggs-esque. Now he's playing central midfield. Do you like that?
I'm not surprised with him playing as a central midfield right now, because I think he got the ability. He's skillful, of course, down the left. It's exciting to see him run down the flanks. But I think him playing in the centre mid, it creates more chances for him to express himself into playing to this playmaking role as more of a free role. As you can see when he plays against Tanjong Pagar, you can see him roaming in between the defence line and midfield of Tanjong Pagar, and he's like happy, you see, to play in that position.
But I was just making the Ryan Giggs reference as well, as we saw Ryan Giggs in his prime playing for Manchester United on the left, and as he got older, he drifted into the middle. Do you sense that it's something similar for Gabriel? Or he's still young though, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think his age is a factor. I think it's more of a modern player thing. I think for a modern player, you have to be versatile to be able to be playing in other positions as well, not just one position. Because it will be difficult for a coach if, let's say, one of the player is down and out, and you need a replacement. You need somebody who's versatile to play in that position.
Versatility is so important in modern day football. He can play on the wing, he can play in the middle, and I think last season he played behind Jonathan Behe at times as well. What do you expect from him this season? Not just from this match, but this season. Do you expect him to get a couple more goals than he did last season, to have more of an influence, perhaps Player of the Year?
Well, maybe he's definitely a contender to be Player of the Year. He's still young. I think in this position, like I said, he'll be able to express freely his skills and to provide more in attacking for the team. Well, I think he will do very well in this position.
Shuko has been expressing freely. His predictions in the AIA Singapore Premier League have not got the last 2 right. So what about today? What's going to happen between Tampines and Lion City Sailors?
Well, prediction has been fun so far. I think I'm sure a lot of viewers agree that I'm wrong at times, but this is what prediction is for. So today I think I'm going to go with Tampines winning the game 2-1. 2-1.
2-1 to Tampines Rovers.
To Tampines Rovers.
All right, so Lion City Sailors win then today at our Tampines Hub. Just kidding, Shuko. But who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be a cracker, that is for sure. Not long to go before kickoff. We'll go for a quick commercial break. But when we return, Patrick Kinghorn will call this massive clash.
Number 10. Welcome back to our Tampines hub on the east coast of Singapore for the game of the season so far. Top of the table, Tampines Rovers taking on the big spending Lion City Sailors. You're about to enjoy it live across the One Play Sports Network all over the world, and along with that, coverage on television in Singapore on the Singtel and StarHub platforms. Duncan and Shukul, along with Barbara, have set this one up nicely. Such a shame that it's behind closed doors, but as was the case when Tampines Rovers played Hougang United at the weekend here at our Tampines hub, if you look closely around the stadium, you can find some fans in nooks and crannies who are getting a vantage point and not exactly ignoring the edict to play behind closed doors, but certainly using some ingenuity to try and find a vantage point in this very unique footballing setup. If you are unfamiliar with our Tampines hub, it's a great little community venture. Activities, entertainment going on all around the complex, as well as shopping facilities. But the heart of it really is this magnificent football stadium with a grandstand on the side we are broadcasting from here, and either side you'll see those viewing galleries, and there are the hardy fans that are getting a bit of football for free. One advantage of being behind closed doors, if you can get a vantage point, you can watch the game without buying a ticket. I can tell you the view there is really good, and if you're really adventurous, right at the top of this incredible complex, as we pan out on our camera shot there, that's right, there's gyms and a running track as well as swimming pools. I wonder if we'll get anyone clogging up the running track by watching the football a little later on tonight. So that gives you a fantastic setting of the scene. All that remains now is for Tampines Rovers and the Lion City Sailors to deliver what we hope will be an entertaining match. We'll give you the teams very shortly as we await the arrival of the two sides, and as well as the players on the park, it's a great matchup as well between the two managers. 29-year-old Gavin Lee, eyebrows raised when he was promoted to the top job of Tampines Rovers, and his young career has brought with it plaudits already against Aurelio Vidmar, a big-name signing in the dugout for the Lion City Sailors, who cut his teeth, amongst other things, as an assistant of the Australian national team, and he comes in most recently after stints with Adelaide in the A-League, after a spell with Bangkok Glass in T1 in Thailand. So a great battle between the coaches, and it's going to be a great battle between the two sets of players. So many familiar faces for both sides, with the main event really being the return of Shardan Suleiman. There was some bad blood when he left Tampines to go to the Lion City Sailors in the close season, but it very much works both ways, with several of the squad who'll line up tonight for Tampines Rovers having links with the players on the other side. So, as the officials, led by our referee today, Mr. G. Lechman, come out onto the pitch, there are some hardy souls who've managed to bag media passes to grab some spacious seating in those deserted stands. But other than that, you've got the best seat in the house watching this live across the One Play Network and on Singtel and StarHub in Singapore. The battle between the Blacks and the Blues. Tampines Rovers, the five-time Singapore Premier League champions, most recently in 2013. Surprising, really, bearing in mind Lion City Sailors are the new name for the club formerly known as Home United. It might surprise you, considering Home United were, I think, fated as one of the giants of Singapore football. Somewhat surprisingly, they only won the Singapore Premier League twice in 1999 and 2003, but with the investment of Forest Lee of the C Group behind them, they have aspirations of getting a hat-trick of titles this season. And with the squad that Aurelio Vidmar has managed to assemble, there really will be no excuses if they don't deliver. And the man there, second from the right at the back, Daniel Bennett, 42 years young, incredibly playing his third game of competitive football in 8 days, bearing in mind in the previous two against Hougang United in the AFC Cup last Tuesday, and on Saturday against Hougang United, he played 90 minutes in both. So let's check out the team news for you. Gavin Lechman will get the toss done. We've just been distracted momentarily. Apologies as we await those team lineups to come your way. As Duncan alluded to, 3 changes in the lineup for Tampines Rovers from that game that was very pedestrian, and they came away with a comfortable 2-0 win. In comes Amarul Adil, Hamizan Hisham and Zairuddin Mehmedovic. They are the 3 men to take place. I'm told, by the way, that Joel Chew, unfortunately, is unwell. Now, don't panic. I don't think it's anything to do with COVID-19, but Joel Chew is sick, and that's why he's not even on the bench, having started against Tanjung Pagar at the weekend. Shannon Stephen also dropping to the substitutes bench today. Well, Lion City Sailors are the team that attracted all the attention pre-season, and this is why. A team packed full of internationals, and add to that the experienced foreign influence of the Korean Song Yu-yong, and of course, Andy Pangeli, the 22-year-old Australian who took the Brisbane Strikers by storm last season. He had options to give it a go with the Central Coast Mariners in the A-League, but he chose to follow Aurelio Vidmar to Singapore to be part of this exciting Lion City Sailors project. They've also added Hassan Sunny, another former custodian of Tampines Rovers, who was playing his football for Army United in Thailand most recently. That club is now not in existence. And look at the bench. Sharyl Ishak on the bench for Lion City Sailors. When you've got a big enough squad and a strong enough squad to put the likes of Isdin and Sharyl Ishak along with Ikram Rifki on the bench, you know you've got some serious talent at your disposal. There's the man, though, who's going to be, I think, in the sights of many Tampines players as the ladies do their aerobics in the corner there in one of the fitness hubs in our Tampines hub. They're, like you, going to get a cheat, really. With this game being behind closed doors, we're going to see if Tampines can stretch their lead at the top of the table, or if Hougang United can go top tonight, because they're in action as well. The team that was shocked by Geylang by 2-1 at the weekend. They're at Balestier Khalsa at Bishan Stadium. That game kicking off at the same time as this one. We'll keep you up to date with all the goings on and the scores as they happen there. But Mr. G. Lechman is about to get us underway here. It'll be Tampines Rovers in the black, playing from left to right, against Lion City Sailors in the blue, playing from right to left, and it'll be the big man, the number 9 from Queensland, Andy Pangeli, to get us underway. Wherever you're watching in the world, the Singapore Premier League is open for business, alive and well for now, behind closed doors, with every precaution taken by the Football Association of Singapore. We are proud to present to you live top-flight football from the Lion City State, and we're watching the Lion City Sailors with an early touch for Nakudin. Hasselden, harried, and Mamedovic is now going to be all over Shardan. This is the first chance for Tampines to get stuck into their talisman from last season. As Duncan mentioned on the pre-show, the record for Tampines last year against the club then known as Home United really was sensational. 5-1 win, a 4-2 win away from home, a 3-0 win to round off the league programme here at our Tampines hub, followed by a 3-0 cup win. They absolutely destroyed Home United last season, but it's a very different setup for the team you're watching in blue, as the easily identifiable tight-wearing Zulkarnain plays it back. Now it's with Kaishu Yamazaki, he's looking to try and find Haikul there, but nothing doing. And both teams just feeding each other out early. Back to Yamazaki. Here's Abdil. Some discussion whether he might play in midfield or defence. It looks like he's going to be playing in the back line, Abdil. The one change to the Lion City Sailors from that 1-1 draw with Tanjung Pagar United. He comes in to replace Tajeli, who drops to the bench. And going back to that 1-0 draw against Tanjung Pagar United, who of course took a shock lead through their giant Brazilian Jan Mota from a corner midway through the first half. They did equalise just before half-time through Andy Pangeli, and in truth probably should have won that game in the second half. Gabriel Crack hit the crossbar. They hit the crossbar again as Daniel Bennett very well forward and does brilliantly to get there, and he gets it to big bad Boris Kaponovic. Boris! Oh, just past the right-hand post of Hassan Sunny, and I think he was beaten. What a start that would have been for the Stags. Just 2 minutes on the clock, and what about Daniel Bennett's role in this? Brilliant still from the Tampines skipper in the absence of Yasir Hanapi. Did brilliantly to get there first. It was a sensational ball to find Boris. Boris did brilliantly there to turn Abdul inside out and got the shot away, but it was always just drifting wide of that right-hand post of Hassan Sunny. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair to Hassan to say he wouldn't have got there, because he wasn't a million miles away, and it was always just bending away from the goal. But a scare for the Lion City Sailors early. And Tampines Rovers, coached by 29-year-old Singaporean Gavin Lee, against the vastly more experienced Aurelio Vidmar, 53 years of age. Incredible, isn't it? There's 24 years age gap between the two coaches today. And we moan, don't we, sometimes about the progression of Singapore football. Well, one thing's for sure, in Gavin Lee, we've got an outstanding young coaching talent who we hope can go on to big things, and surely he's a future national team coach in waiting, Gavin Lee. A bold move by Tampines chairman Desmond Ong to let him replace Jurgen Rabb when the German was relieved of his duties a season and a half ago. And Gavin Lee has repaid that faith. Tampines finishing second, the top Singapore team in the top flight last season in the league, won by Brunei DPMM. And at the moment currently sitting atop of Group H in the AFC Cup. Most recently last Tuesday with a win against Hougang United of Myanmar. Nice play. Into the middle it goes. All of a sudden Hamizan found himself in space there. Boris has come back from an offside position. And that will be a free kick to relieve the pressure for the Lion City Sailors. It's Tampines that have started the stronger through these first 5 minutes. Let's just check that was the right decision, as coming forward was Hamizan. And interesting, both Hamizan and Daniel Bennett, of all people, operating in the final third inside the first 5 minutes of this one. That suggests to me that Gavin Lee has got ambitions to take all 3 points here, and he fancies Tampines have got the upper hand against the Lion City Sailor squad, packed full of talent. But as Aurelio Vidmar was talking to Barbara in the pre-match interview, not really the ideal setup, is it? Only one game played so far this season, that 12 days ago in that 1-1 draw against Tanjung Pagar United. They also were supposed to play Brunei DPMM. That game was postponed. It's just Tampines' luck, but bearing in mind this is their 9th game of the season compared to the Lion City Sailors' 2nd. They're actually the only team to have played Brunei DPMM this season, and in fact worse for them was the fact they had to go to Brunei to do it, and even worse for them was the fact they lost the game 2-0, and that will be a right pain if Brunei end up having to leave the league because of this COVID-19 situation. That might be a difficult decision that has to be made somewhere down the line. We hope it doesn't, because Brunei DPMM were worthy champions last season and they'll prove a great test. This is more promising from the Lion City Sailors, but the ball played in by Haikul, didn't find the intended target, and again signs there similar to the ones we saw against Tanjung Pagar United, that they're not as together as a team yet. They've got the quality, but maybe not just gelling as a team, and that will surely come with competitive action as Mr. Lechman blows his whistle with vigour. Daniel Bennett gets the game back underway after Nakamura was fouled. So if I look at this, well, nothing much in it, was there? Nakamura with Gabriel Quack just piling through at him. Gabriel Quack with the assist for Andy Pangeli's goal in that 1-1 draw. And it was telling, wasn't it? I must say, we're very lucky in Singapore. I know people moan about the local football scene, but the new paper in the Straits Times do a good job in previewing the Singapore Premier League matches and writing some great colour articles. And I want to give a shout out to two men that did that today. David Lee in the Straits Times and Dipan Raj Ganesan in the new paper wrote really interesting articles, and not lazy journalism, just copying each other. They both came at the game from different viewpoints. There was quotes from our very own Duncan Elias, and there was some nice talk from Gavin Lee and Jordan Webb about their relationship. Jordan Webb has absolutely thrived under Gavin Lee, of that there is no doubt. And currently the top scorer in all competitions for Tampines, with 6 across the AFC Cup, Community Shield and SPL. Boris Kapotovic not far behind with 5. And I think I'm right in saying, well, there's only one game on for each of them when one of them scored and the other one hasn't. Usually when one scores, the other one does. Boris's sole goal without Jordan on the score sheet came in the 1-0 win here against Balestier when they took the lead right about now. And Jordan Webb got both in that win against Tanjung Pagar United, where Boris was uncharacteristically quiet. I don't know whether that bodes badly or well for the Lion City Sailors tonight. For a while on Sunday, it looked like Geylang were going to go to the top, didn't it? They had that 2-0 lead, which would have been enough by virtue of goal difference to go top of the table. But they conceded that late goal to Hougang, held on for the 3 points. So as we enter the 4th round of fixtures, have a glance at the league table. Tampines, having played 3, having 6 points, top it. Geylang International second, played 3, 6 points. Obviously it's a bit skewed because DPMM, the defending champs, have played 1 and have got 3 points. And with that defeat, by the way, for Hougang, remarkably, this early in the season, DPMM the only team with a 100% record. So I'm telling you now, I think you have to say if DPMM rejoin the competition after COVID-19, which we all hope they do, they'll be red-hot favourites to win again. But if they were to leave, this is a wide-open Singapore Premier League, arguably the most open league that we've had of the 25 years of professional football in Singapore. Really will be interesting. Jordan Webb, haven't seen much of him. He gets in a tangle and doesn't get the free kick, and he's furious with that as he got tangled up with Hafiz Noor, I think it was. Mr. Lechman wants them to take it back inside their own half. Touch for Gabriel Quack. I haven't really seen Andy Pengelly in the game so far. I had a chat with him out on the pitch before. He's enjoying life in Singapore. Obviously a bit frustrating for him, having taken the move at the young age of 22 to move countries to further his professional career, that he's not been able to play much competitive football, but he said he's finding the people lovely, likes the climate obviously, and likes the crowd. There was Jordan Webb, after good work over on that far side, starts to drive. This is what Jordan Webb can do. He's got past one, he finds Boris, the ball's laid off to Mehmedovic. That would have been some goal. And Tampines are in the ascendancy here on the 9-minute mark. The credit goes here to Jordan Webb for some great build-up play. And the Jordan Webb of 18 months ago, after doing this work, might have had a crack, but the influence of Gavin Lee, instead he tries to find Boris. I think he was looking for the return pass, which didn't come. Instead, Boris played it back to Mehmedovic, and that effort wasn't far away. So early stages, 2 shots on goal, both from the home side. The Stags at the moment looking strong. Daniel Bennett puts his big size 12s through that. It's headed back towards goal. They've got to be careful here because Boris was lurking. Doing well in the end was Yamazaki. They get it back to Hassan Sunny. Great to see Hassan Sunny back playing football in Singapore. Won a lot of fans in Thailand during his spell at Army. He's been involved in a long-running competition really to make that #1 jersey of Singapore his own, but I think he's won that competition now. Mehmedovic, Jordan Webb's on the overlap. Mehmedovic tried to play it through the defender there almost, and a no-nonsense boot through from Yamazaki. Here's Shazwan, was man of the match for Tampines in the 1-0 win against Balestier, where he saved a second-half penalty from Shuhei Hoshino. Superb penalty save it was as well. Boris on the turn, couldn't find Mehmedovic, but he'll win the free kick, and the referee's going to get the card out here. Well, an early yellow card for Yamazaki. Look at Aurelio Vidmar on the bench. Aurelio Vidmar on the bench is furious. And as well he may be, because to get a yellow for one of your centre-backs 10 minutes in when Jordan Webb and Boris look in the mood, that puts pressure on them. And Aurelio Vidmar did not like that decision. He's calmed down a bit now, but there he is, half shaking the head. He wasn't happy. Let's have a look at the challenge. You make up your own mind. Was it yellow card worthy? Have your say in the comment section on Facebook, of course. Well, yeah, it was, wasn't it? I think. Cheeky. Sometimes you get away with those challenges inside the first quarter of an hour of a game because the referee wants to not put himself under pressure by getting the cards out, but I don't think they can have any complaints there. Good call from Lechman. And I think I've said it all the way through the season so far. By and large, you're always going to get contentious decisions in football. And I think, I don't know about you, that it's a great thing we haven't got VAR in the SPL. I think the referees have done well. The officials have been informed so far this season. Speaking about a man in form, here's Jordan Webb. Great movement to find Boris. Laid off again. The shot comes in and Hassan Sunny gets down. And he had to get down to save from Shah. And they forced the first quarter of the game. Some of this movement and passing play from Tampines is reminiscent of their second half destruction of Hougang and the Community Shield. Really sharp. They've upped to the gear from the way they were playing against Hougang United at the weekend. Look at this from Jordan. Great movement from Boris. Lovely layoff to Shah. And Hassan Sunny saves well. Corner ball. Corner comes in. Boris can get there. Well, he could have got there almost unchallenged because Abdul was slow to react. Couldn't get the strong header away though, and now it's with Gabriel Quack, who looks to try and get it back. Arching his body to get on the head there was Hafiz Noor. They've survived a couple of early scares here, the Lion City Sailors, and far too early to be saying they're becoming a team of top-paid players that are going to start to feel the pressure, but Not been a promising start here. They have, though, in the 13th minute, won their first corner. What can they do from set pieces? They wasted any number of set piece opportunities against Tanjung Pagar United in their first game of the season. Interesting that Boris Kapotovic is coming back here to help defend this corner. Trotting over to take it is the former Stag, Shardan Suleiman. Only one Tampines Rovers player has avoided the penalty area, and that's Hamizan. Jordan Webb is back there. And that was mentioned in that article this morning in the papers as well. Jordan Webb is now doing far more defensive work than previous managers have managed to get him to do. He's working harder than I've ever seen Jordan Webb, and at 31, that's no mean feat. When you think about the age of Jordan Webb and Daniel Bennett, the amount of games this squad is playing with limited resources, they are holding up remarkably well. That's overhit by Shardan. Well, again, early days, but we've seen 103 minutes of the Lion City Sailors, and they've really got to find a way maybe of mixing it up to get Andy Pangeli involved. He's looked quite lonely up there, been feeding off scraps. Here we go with that playing out from a corner as Gavin Lee looks on. Had a very interesting discussion with a friend on Twitter. I said, call him a friend. Well, I think we're essentially friends, but again, he was picking up on something I said in commentary at the weekend. I'm not a fan of this new rule. Well, there's nothing wrong with the rule where teams are allowed to play it out from inside their own penalty area on goal kicks. I think it's a disaster waiting to happen. It was an interesting debate that we had, and of course, feel free to engage on the Facebook page with any comments or debates on the action you're seeing. But going back to my chat with Kyril Ashraf, he's a fan of seeing the teams playing. Oh my word, that's a big challenge from Daniel Bennett. We could see the second card of the game here. And more importantly, now two centre-backs, one from each side, are walking a disciplinary tightrope. Along with that, Tampines now have to defend a real dangerous-looking free kick position for Lion City Sailors, and he can have no complaints at all. He sent Heikel sky high there. Yes, going back to that goal kick situation, I think it's a disaster waiting to happen, not just in the Singapore Premier League, but in any leagues where you're not dealing with the kind of players you've got in the likes of Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, that kind of level. Maybe not Real Madrid, but the real sharp ball-playing teams. We shall see. So far, I've got to hand it to Kyril. Nothing's gone wrong in the Singapore Premier League, and the season's now 4 rounds in. Is something going to go wrong for Tampines here? Because their old man, Shardan, is over the ball. He's got the option here of swinging it in to try and find the head of Andy Pangeli, or going for goal himself. Seen some great free kick goals already at our Tampines hub this season. Shardan, oh, he spilled it initially, Shazwan, but luckily for him, no blue shirt was around to capitalise. Good distribution from the Tampines stopper, and Boris Kapotovic is onside here. And that was an important interjection from Zulkarnain there. And Tampines will have to make do with the throw. Yeah, I think Shardan will be disappointed with that, because it was neither one or the other, was it? That cross. Aurelio Vidmar, along with Gavin Lee, they're both very vocal dugout coaches, as Boris has done well there. Get it back to Sharul. And the decision goes the way of the Lion City Sailors. But let's give a mention in that Tampines Rovers coaching setup. Obviously, Gavin Lee leads the way, but let's not underestimate the role that Faroudin Mustafik is playing this season as well. I think he's the ideal man to help in Gavin Lee's development as a coach. But Tampines are title contenders. They've got a Singapore in charge. The Lion City Sailors have gone down their foreign route with Aurelio Vidmar. Good improvisation from Song Yu-yong. And Song Yu-yong's done really well here. Song Yu-yong got the better of Nakamura. Not many players have done that this season. Lion City Sailors with a throw, and Gabriel Quacker's over to take it. Still no goals in our other game either. Nil between Balestier and Hougang. 3 shots on goal in this one, all to Tampines Rovers. There's lots of space in that far side, and the flag stays down. Can they try and find Andy Pangeli? He cuts inside instead. And the shot from Hafiz Noor, I think it was, is off target. Nice ball though, and he had plenty of space here. Hafiz Noor, but couldn't hit the target. Again, Tampines playing it out from the back. I think the test with that really comes is how many times the team playing that short goal kick can get the ball out of their own half, or how many times they fail to get it out of their own half. If you're going to play the percentages, there's a foul on Shah Shahiran. Just starting to see some big challenges come in. Oh, the foot was high there as well, wasn't it, from Hafiz Noor? A little bit cheeky. So upsetting, isn't it? You can see the empty stands there in the reflected glass, but if you look around the stadium, there are now lots of pockets of fans congregating at the various viewing platforms in this very unique sporting environment. We'll be showing you then when we get the breaks in play, just to prove that there are some people enjoying the action. You can just see them in the top of your screen on the left there as the ball goes out for a throw. Throw-in taken from a long way back as those lucky people get to watch some top-class football in the Singapore Premier League without buying a ticket. Yamazaki gets it back to Hassan Sunny, who's the only keeper that's had to make a meaningful save so far. Getting down well to save from Shah. Well, I fancy we might get a high-scoring game today. Early indications are maybe not. Song Yu-yong looks for support, finds it with Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack to Nakudin. Now they get it to Boris Kapotovic. Didn't have much of a look in at the weekend against Hougang United. It was very much the Jordan Webb show, but he's already looking livelier today. Oh, that's a lovely turn from Hamizan. Finds Mehmedovic, who sees Jordan Webb over on the left in lots of space. Jordan Webb, I fancy he'll pull the trigger here. Jordan Webb. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it. Still does, but the chance are gone. And they'll get the second prize there with a corner. I think he just hesitated a split second too long there, Jordan Webb. And Mehmedovic goes over to take. So we saw Boris Kapotovic getting back and helping out defensively. The big number 9 for Tampines when they were defending a corner. Andy Pangeli is sticking to Amaral like glue from this corner. Amaral's drifted, and Amaral's making lots of movement. Hassan Sunny comes and claims well and tries to get rid of it quickly with an almighty whack downfield, and it wasn't judged at all well by Irwan Shah. And again, that's sloppy. Sharrell this time conceding the throw. Song Young does well. Haven't seen much of Shardan so far, but he's got the ball to Zulkarnain. Zulkarnain has found support in Song Yong, who's drifted it over to try and find Haikul. And Haikul does well initially, but he's going to need support here, Haikul. Not too many blue shirts offering to help. He's found an option now in Hafiz Noor. Hafiz Noor to Nakudin. Abdil. Zulkarnain. Shardan. I think this is the most consecutive passes. I've tempted fate there, haven't I? Commentators cursed up until that point. I think that was the most consecutive passes that the Lion City Sailors have put together. Andy Pangeli does well with the hustle. Out wide it goes, and there's some room for Hafiz Noor to operate here. Andy Pangeli awaits in the area. Hafiz Noor finds an option in Song Yong off the post, and out it comes. They can't get the finishing touch, and they want handball. Screaming for handball after Gabriel Quack followed up. But woodwork struck by the Sailors. Well, they were afforded plenty of space down that left-hand side here. Hafiz Noor did really well Daniel Bennett, they were a little bit confused there, and they left the space for Song Yong, and he was definitely beaten Shazwan, and Gabriel Quack with a follow-up. They were screaming for handball against Sharil, I think it was. I think they were just trying their luck there. You see it in the countries where you have VAR now. People just appeal for everything to try and convince the referee to have a look to see if he'll find another infringement. He's onside here, Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack, Song looking to give him an option. Gabriel Quack's done really well. And he wants a deflection and a corner. Again, he's not going to get it. Off the post. It initially came out looking like Haikul. Would get there, but it was Gabriel Quack who smashed the crossbar against Hougang United. Here's Yamazaki. Well, both teams have survived a scare through the first quarter of the game. Yamazaki on a yellow card along with Daniel Bennett. That's a concern for both teams going forward. Nice space here for Song Yong. This is better from the Lion City Sailors. They've enjoyed the better of the last 10 minutes, that's for sure. Naikudin with a cross that hangs up, and they're going to head to it, and what a save from Shazwan. Well, Song Yong is becoming really influential in this game now. Really well-weighted cross. Unfortunately for Lion City Sailors, it's over the bar. What it does do, though, is give them their second corner. Chardin takes, heads are up, and it's a bit of confusion in the Tampines Rovers box. Luckily for them, Shazwan was there. Well done by Nakudin there. It's out for a throw to Tampines. Boris Kapotovic, well, he's surrounded by blue shirts here. Needs some help from Jordan Webb. And that's a strong sliding challenge. Throw in. Gets to Shah. And who's that come off? That's going to be a corner if it's come off a Lion City Sailor. And the assistant referee is signalling corner. Mehmedovic over to take this corner. Now, both teams now looking slightly vulnerable defensively, but with the deflection that'll go out for another corner ball. Some saved that from Shazwan, wasn't it? Both keepers have made good saves. Hassan Sunny early on from Shah, and then good goalkeeping from Shazwan to deny Yamazaki with that header. Fourth corner to Tampines. They've not really threatened from any so far. Mehmedovic, they've got a runner coming in short to try and give him an option. They spread it out wide. It's a good delivery. It could come to Jordan Webb. He'd like that one back. It's not even gone out of play. The ball's spun back in. So the play still on here for Mehmedovic, who's battling well. But the Lion City Sailors hold up. Only to a point, though. Daniel Bennett still in a forward position after that corner. Diving header clear from Yamazaki. And there an effort from Shah to Jordan Webb. He shows some nice control. Jordan Webb cutting inside. This is where he can be so dangerous. Andy Pangeli beaten. Gets it to Mehmedovic. Hassan Sunny plucks it out the air. And he had to catch that on the full as well, because Amaral was lurking if he spilled that. Singapore's number one, taking absolutely no chances there. Jordan Webb, look at that, Andy Pangeli. That's where he's brilliant, Jordan Webb. Making things happen. Meanwhile, up the other end, Gabriel Quack is bearing in on goal, but Tampines get it away from them. Naikudin. Nice work from Naikudin, a lovely turn, giving Shah a torrid time. Gabriel Quack now over on the left. Gabriel Quack finds a runner. Nice movement from Hafiz Noor. Hafiz Noor back to Zulkarnain. Zulkarnain, in it comes. Good cross, and it was going to be there for Andy Pangeli. It was a vital interjection, because we've already seen what Andy Pangeli can do with his head. Nice cross from Zulkarnain, really well weighted. And look at Andy Pangeli, the way he came off his man, and he had to get that header spot on Shirul, and did just that. Chardon over for another corner. 7th of the game, and only really one threatening one that came to the Lion City Sailors when Yamazaki forced a stunning save from Shazwan. Delivery is another good one. Andy Pangeli trying to get there, but can only improvise a touch, and Shazwan making a nuisance of himself to make it hard for the Lion City Sailors. Mehmedovic plays it down the line and getting crowded out of it. Here's Hamizan, but they'll get the throw, and they take it quickly, as they're entitled to do. Oh, that was speculative from Irwan Shah, looking for Big Boris, and Hassan Sunny alive to the threat. So half an hour gone in both of tonight's Singapore Premier League matches. If you are just joining us, a warm welcome to the Singapore Premier League, wherever you're watching around the world. We're live on the One Play Sports Network, on the Singtel and Star Hub channels in Singapore as well. Most of the world's soccer is closed for business, but thanks to the vigilance of the government of Singapore and the superb precautions put in place by the Football Association of Singapore, as illustrated by Barbara Latimer before kick-off here in our pre-show, they are enabling at the moment the Singapore Premier League to continue. And we're proud to bring you top-flight football between the big spending boys in the close season, the Lion City Sailors, and the keen team runners-up last season's currently top of the table, Tampines Rovers. Nakudin. Hafiz Noor. Chardon. Straight into trouble, and Jordan Webb can bring it away, and that's intelligent football from Jordan Webb, because he's played Boris Kaponovic into space. Now Boris needs an option in the middle, and there are 4 players herring up, including Jordan Webb and Owen Shah. Jordan Webb might still get to this. Mehmedovic is over on this near side wanting it. Mehmedovic will get it. Now Irwan. Irwan, oh, he would like that one back. He has played it straight to Hassan Sunny, who tries to clear it quickly. Andy Pangeli tries to hold it up, but great tracking back by Nakamura. But these are 2 high-quality footballing sides here. Some lovely passing movement from both of them. Tampines, no question, starting the better, but the Lion City Sailors have come right back into this in the last 15 minutes. And I was listening to Duncan and Shukul in the pre-show debating whether these are 2 title contenders. I think you have to say on this evidence they certainly are. Advantage being played. Boris, Irwan's in the box. That's a push from Boris Kaponovic, surely. And eventually the referee, with somewhat of a delayed reaction, gives it. Have a look at this. Boris up against Zulkarnain. Steps a push. And he couldn't find Mehmedovic anyway. Gabriel Quack. Yamazaki. Harmless. Goal kick. Well, if you are watching the Singapore Premier League for the first time, as I said, you're very welcome. And just to give you the background to it, 9 teams. We've got Albirex Niigata of Japan with a team based in Singapore. Albirex Niigata Singapore. They were the 4-peat champions, dethroned finally last season by Brunei DPMM, as we get another look at Song Yi-yong's effort that hit the post, and then Gabriel Quack on the rebound being blocked. They've also had a great effort from Yamazaki. That was well saved from Shazwan. Yes, Albirex Niigata, the Japanese club, currently playing in J2 in Japan. They have a club here that are based in Singapore, Albirex Niigata Singapore. Brunei DPMM also have a club, Brunei. About a 2.5, 3 hour flight from Singapore. They are the defending champions, as Aurelio Vidmar, the brother of Tony Vidmar, the Australian footballing legend who's new to Singapore this season, and he's managing the team you're watching in the blue here, the Lion City Sailors, who were renamed this campaign. They were previously known as Home United. Origins in being a team founded by the police force here. And one of the traditional giants of Singapore football, only 2-time Singapore Premier League champions, but they're the record winners of the Singapore Cup with 6 victories. Obviously, Tampines Rovers, they have always been there and thereabouts, and are currently one of 2 Singapore teams representing the Lion City in the AFC Cup, as Boris Kapolovic has got some space here and plays the ball in as well, and Zulkarnain had to be lively there, and that's Hafiz Noor unable to keep it in. Also in the Singapore Premier League, alongside Tampines Lion City Sailors, Albirex Niigata and Brunei DPMM, we've got Balestier Khalsa, a team we saw in action over the weekend. Boris Kapolovic gets the shot away, took a deflection, it'll be a corner kick. Tanjung Pagar United, we've seen them as well. They played the Lion City Sailors in their first game of the season, 1-1 draw. Tampines beat them at the weekend. They're new to the league for this season after an absence of 6 years. Good to have them back. We've also got the Young Lions, and if you're new to Singapore football, that's effectively the under-23 national team in a development squad that compete in the league, as Mehmedovic takes the corner. And Daniel Bennett did really well to get there, but it's come off a Tampines player, according to referee Lechman. It'll be a goal kick. And we've got Hougang United. It was great to be at Hougang at the weekend after they played their first game at their home stadium for the best part of 2 years. Unfortunately for them, they went down 2-1 to Geylang, and if you saw that match, it gave us plenty of talking points. And those are the teams, I hope I haven't left anyone out, that make up the 9 sides in the 2020 Singapore Premier League that celebrates 25 years of professional football in Singapore. And at a time when there's uncertainty all over the world, and certainly for obvious reasons, sport takes a back seat. It's fantastic that we are still continuing here, albeit that we have got problems with the Brunei DPMM games being played. They've only played 1 game this season, a 2-0 win against Tampines. It seems like a lifetime ago, and I suppose, unfortunately, if their problems with a lockdown for COVID-19 continue, I'll start asking whether they can play and try and defend their title. Here's Mehmedovic. Mehmedovic doing really well. Mehmedovic still gets it to Irwan. Irwan to Mehmedovic. Hafiz Noor tracking back. I can hear the drums of the Tampines Rovers supporters club banging. They're certainly not in the ground. I think they must be hidden away in one of the corners of the stadium. We'll try and pick them up for you as Irwan takes the throw. Shah doing well to hold the ball up and keep possession and find the man that was putting the strings for Tampines at the weekend, Nakamura, and that's a late challenge on Boris. And he'll win a free kick. It was Abdil that followed through on him there, I believe. Well, they're certainly making their presence felt, the Tampines Rovers fans, as Gavin Lee hands a drink to Irwan. Well, not Irwan, apologies, Shah it is, Shah Shahiran. who's getting some instructions from his coach. Well, we've got this delaying game now. Nakamura and Mehmedovic, we know they can both hit them. This would be some goal. We've seen some decent free kicks scored already this season, 4 rounds in. If this one were to find the back of the net, it would be the most spectacular we've seen so far. Hassan Sunny, Singapore's #1 keeper, awaits. Will it be Nakamura or Mehmedovic? Both of them looking for their first Singapore Premier League goal of the season. The way they're shaping up, it looks to me to be the left foot of Nakamura. But Mehmedovic might be playing poker with me and the Lion City Sailors defence and goalkeeper. Referee Lechman taking his time, making sure the wall is set. Will it be Nakamura? Just always drifting away. Always looked like it was going to be close, but Hassan Sunny had his eyes on it and was comfortable in just letting it go past as they try and play it out. With Chardin. A free kick, close but no cigar. This is a driving run from Yamazaki. Look at Yamazaki into Tampines territory, and he very nearly found Song Yu-yong as well. Instead it's back to Shazwan, and just like that we're 40 minutes in. And this is dangerous play from Tampines. Shazwan doing well in the end, and you say dangerous, when it goes right it looks sensational, doesn't it? And it certainly went right there. I can tell you, Balestier Khalsa, it's a week to forget for Hougang, beaten in the AFC Cup last Tuesday, beaten by Geylang on Sunday, and now losing away at Balestier Khalsa. Marko Kravic's men on a roll. Here at our Tampines hub, can Jordan Webb give the Stags the lead? Plays it back to Mehmedovic. And Mehmedovic goes for placement rather than power, and Hassan Sunny had it covered. Goal scored by Sime Zuzul for Balestier Khalsa, who had been struggling with injury. So Zuzul is off the mark for the 2020 Singapore Premier League. They've given a lot of space up to Hamizan there, and Mehmedovic nearly cheekily poked one through the defence and almost Hassan Sunny. Well, it's hardly end-to-end stuff, but can you name the winner at this stage? They've both looked threatening at times. Neither team supremely dominant though. Lots of credit to Hamizan here. Boris left it for Mehmedovic, and I don't know if he knew much about it, but it came off Abdil. The Stags will get a corner, and there's been plenty of them in this half. 9 already, 6 to the Stags, 3 to the Sailors. Less than 5 to play to half-time. Mehmedovic, well, Boris peeled off, and that's really good running by Charles to get there. Irwan now tries to spread it out to the left-hand side, and Jordan Webb. Good first touch from Jordan. Interestingly, Boris is lingering on the edge of the 6-yard box if they can find him. Cut out by Yamazaki, and the Sailors should clear. Abdil, no messing around there, and he's forced the mistake out of Charles as Sulkanen takes the throw. Not much from Andy Pangeli so far. Still very young, remember. We're so used to seeing players not past their best, but certainly in their twilight years coming to play their trade in the Singapore Premier League. I think it's only fair if Andy Pangeli does take a bit of time to settle, we bear with him and give him some patience, because certainly anyone that can have the goal-scoring record he had, 41 goals in 26 games in the league in the MPL in Australia last season, and 52 goals in 34 matches in all competition. He scored against the Wellington Phoenix in the FFA Cup, which is Australia's FA Cup, and has had trials with the Central Coast Mariners. Now Daniel Bennett's already on a yellow card here. Bennett already on a yellow, and just before half-time that would be a disaster. No wonder he's trying to give Gabriel Quack a helping hand up, and he was concerned there, Daniel Bennett, really concerned. And Lechman, there's no question in my mind that he gets the card out here if Daniel Bennett isn't on a yellow. That's a yellow card offence all day long. Daniel Bennett's had a lucky escape. Chardin. Abdil looks up. Yeah, Andy Pangeli unable to get in the game at all at the moment. And for all that some of the Lion City Sailors' passings look very pretty at times, maybe if they were to get a little bit more direct, maybe try and play some balls over the top of the Tampines defence, because you'd be back in the likes of Gabriel Quack and Andy Pangeli in a foot race with Dan Bennett, wouldn't you, all day long, and twice on Tuesdays. Remember, Duncan Elias and Shukul Zainul, a league winner with Tampines in years gone by. 2011, I think it was, 9 years ago. He doesn't look old enough. There's a man that doesn't look old enough to be managing a top-flight team in football. Only 29 years of age, but Gavin Lee is emerging as a real coaching star in Singapore. Nakamura mops up. Is there time for a twist in this first half that's seen an incredible 16 shots on goal, but we're still goalless. Jordan Webb tried to find the option in the middle, but they were unable to get it to Shah. Nice work from Amedovic. Boris and Webb lurking. That takes a deflection. Oh, Amedovic had a little nibble at Gabriel Quack there, I think. Jordan Webb could pick up the scraps here and does. Yeah, amazing that. 16 shots on goal. Doesn't feel that many, does it? But we have had the post struck by Song Young. We've had Yamasaki's fine header acrobatically saved by Shazwan. That's the closest we've come to a goal. There was a good save from Hassan Sunny early on. From Shah, I think it was. Boris Kapotovic with the first chance of the game, and he sent it wide. Still get the feeling there are goals in this game, but it's looking increasingly like none of them will come before half-time unless Nakamura can make some magic happen. Here's another magic man, Jordan Webb, on 96 Singapore Premier League goals in his career. Needs 4 more for the ton. And that's no mean feat to get 100 goals in the Singapore Premier League. He's been here some time, Jordan Webb, but when you bear in mind there's fewer games every season in this league than most, this confirmation will have a minute time added on, and it looks like Tampines are intent on just making sure that they go into the break with parity, although having said that, Irwan might have some space to operate here. Well, it goes to Boris, who's peeled off. Going back to that 100 goal mark for Jordan Webb. Only 11 players in Singapore professional football history have got 100 top flight goals, as that ball is spread across the face of goal by Boris Kapotovic, and no Tampines player could get on the end of it. Another half chance goes a-begging. Yes, most recently Kree Lee, when playing for Balestier Kausa, brought up the 100 goals. Alexander Juric, the only man to top 300, which he achieved playing for Tampines Rovers in 2010. Referee Lechman blows for a half-time that is going to end goalless, but not for the one to trying. Plenty of shots on goal, and the superiority and dominance has ebbed and flowed. Daniel Bennett will have to be careful. He's on a yellow card going into the second half, as is Yamazaki. Yamazaki forced a fine save after a header that nearly got past Shazwan, but the Tampines stopper did his job well. At the other end, Hassan Sunny's been called into emergency action once, and Boris Kapotovic has had a chance that he maybe on reflection would have think he should have hit the target with. At the other game, Balestier Kausa leading Hougang by a goal to nil. But here at our Tampines hub, as we await the arrival after the break of Duncan Elias and Shukul for our halftime show, it's Stags nil, Sailors nil.
goalless at the break between Tampines Rovers and Lion City Sailors, but it's been a great contest. No goals, but plenty of chances each way. Shuko Zailan, did you enjoy that first half?
I totally enjoyed the first half. I think it was an end-to-end stuff. Both keepers has been tested. You can see the quality, both teams attackingly, it's good.
Lion City Sailors have been pushing very, very high. They have pressed Tampines Rovers very, very high, but they do look to hit on the counter Tampines, and are you worried that they might leave gaps at the back, Lion City Sailors, as they push men forward?
Well, if they are not careful, I think Tampines can make a good counter-attack. So far, they've been successful in the counter-attack, just that they are pulling the trigger to take shots at goal and sometimes delay the attack. So it'll be a problem for Lion City Sailors. Hope they work on that on the second half.
Who edged it in the first half? Would you say both teams had their moments in the first half but just couldn't capitalize?
Yeah, I think both teams have their moments. Just that, like you said, they didn't capitalize. But more of Tampines Rovers, I would say. I know you wouldn't agree with me because you were saying that Lion City Sailors have been doing well. But I think both teams are creating good chances. We just have to see how the game plan goes in the second half.
Well, it started as soon as the second minute. It was great work by Daniel Bennett. Kopitovic, using his strength, did the right thing, hitting the far post, just couldn't find the target.
This is an excellent move, I would say. It was a good pass, just not lucky enough for Kopitovic to finish it in the goal.
Yeah, great strength here by Daniel Bennett, the centre-back of all people, and then rode the challenge here. And great pass for Kopitovic. Just pushed and run ahead of Abdil, just couldn't find the target there. Hassan might argue he had his angles covered. On the 9th minute, another chance for Tampines Rovers, who started the game brightly. It was Webb to Kopitovic, and it was nice setup play for Mehmedovic. Would Hassan have saved that if it found a target?
Oh, I don't think Hassan could have saved that if the ball was on target. I think he would definitely go into top corner. So great move again. These three players, Mehmedovic, Kopitovic and Jordan Webb, creating this triangle shape attackingly. So it was a nice layoff. Just unlucky.
Yeah, very close indeed. Hassan not troubled by that. It was all Tampines, as I said, and Shah Shairan got in the act. All balls going to Jordan Webb. Good setup play here. Found Shah. Good firm strike, a low drive. Hassan Sani safe hands to palm it away.
So far, the quality of the goalkeeping for both sets of team has been excellent. I mean, Hassan is the current number one, and Shazwan is probably the next upcoming. So I think both teams have good goalkeepers, positioning very good. It's not easy to get past them actually.
Yeah, tight space for Shah, but he got a strike away. Good save.
Yeah, it was a good
by
shot.
Hassan. 23 minutes in. They win the ball high up, as I said here. Lion City Sailors, a big chance for them. The ball would eventually find Song Yong. And how about this for a strike? Rocks the post.
Sweet.
Shazwan, all hands beaten. Rebound by Gabriel Quek. He's asking for the handball. But first up, Song Yong, you give him a chance and he can hurt you.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a good shot. It was power. It was just unfortunate that he hit the post.
Might have come off the shoulder there, or Shahrus Azali, but have another look at a strike. Would have been contender for goal of the season, never mind goal of the week. The Lion City Sailors, they had a good middle part and had a big chance here. Kaishu Yamazaki staying up from a previous set-piece opportunity. Good ball in by Nakiuddin, and a top save by Shazwan.
Again, Shazwan always saving the team. I think he's very agile in the goal. That was a great save. Good header as well.
Great delivery, you have to say,
great delivery
by Nakiuddin. Yamazaki unlucky. And Tampines Rovers got stronger in the final part of the match. Nakamura, well, doesn't beat Hassan Sani, doesn't find the target. It was a big battle there. I was keeping an eye on it between Nakamura and Sharan Sulaiman.
Yeah, both are doing good for their own team. I would say it's quite equal so far.
You think so? The battle between Nakamura and Sharan? I've been keeping a close eye on it. Who do you think edged it?
I think Kyoga edged Sharan by a little bit. Not much, but I think Kyoga has been impressive in the first half.
And what about Sharan Sulaiman by himself? Obviously, all eyes on him. The chairman of Tampines Rovers, Desmond Ong, sitting very, very closely to us, really cheering on his side, seeing his old boy back at OTH. How has he done?
Well, Sharan has been doing good as well. He is stringing all the passes from defense to attack, playing a lot to the wings as you can see in the first half because they're capitalizing on the wings, they have more space on the wings, so I think he's done a good job in the first half.
Plenty of interest in this match, especially by the media. Barbara Latimer is live down pitchside with the new paper journalist Deepan Raj Ganesan for his thoughts on the first half so far.
Thanks, Duncan. I have with me Deepan from the new paper with me again. What a match so far. In this first half, we've seen a lot of back and forth. The goalkeepers are really being made to work for their money today. Lots of shots even within the first 11 minutes, I would say. What are your thoughts on the match so far?
It's 0-0 at the moment, but it's not your typical boring stalemate, right? I mean, there's been chances on both ends. I think Lion City Sailors and Tampines, they've both been playing very well. Good football, especially. Both teams trying to build up from the back, and both teams had good chances. So I'm surprised it's still 0-0, but I'm very sure it won't end that way. Yeah.
Now, we've had yellow cards on each side so far. It was kind of a bit lull time in the middle. It started off bright, it ended off quite bright as well. Do you think that now the teams have had a chance to suss each other out, they might change their tactics in the second half?
No, actually, I think they will go into the second half the same way they started the first. You spoke about the yellow cards. I think Bennett was really lucky to still be on the pitch because I thought personally that was a second yellow card for him. But again, like I say, I think both teams are creating good chances, playing really well. So I expect more of the same in the second half. But one thing is I hope that Lion City Sailors use more of Shadan through the middle. He's been playing in a deeper role. I think more of the play should go through him. And I think then Lion City Sailors could benefit from that.
Now, going forward into this, the Nakamura-Sharan showdown, who do you think has created just a little bit more edge?
I think it's been Kyoga Nakamura so far because, again, like I said, I think most of the play has been going through the sides for Lion City Sailors. Even when he goes through the middle, it's not been going through Shadan. He's playing in a very peculiar role as the deepest of the midfield tree. So I think more of the passes should go to him because he's a creator. He can create anywhere from the pitch. So I think if Lion City Sailors use more of him, I think they could benefit from that, and I think they could go on to win the game.
Oof, we've got some great insight there. I think maybe you should be in there with the teams giving them some advice. Now, last but not least, going forward, if the Lion City Sailors do not win this match, they wouldn't have won at all in their 2 games. Do you think that they might turn into crisis mode going forward?
I think it's a bit too early to say that, but I think one thing they got going for them is the fact that it's been only 2 games. It's a new team, lots of new players, so I think they're still gelling. It will take some time. I think if you speak to the coach as well, even he would admit that they haven't quite gelled yet. But I think we saw good signs in this game so far. I think as opposed to the first game, they've played quite good football so far. So I think maybe as the games go on, they'll gel. I think if they could win this game, it would be a good boost for them. But I think so far, so good for them.
Awesome. Well, it's always lovely chatting with you. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to an exciting second half right after this break.
Welcome back live to OTH. It's live Wednesday night Singapore Premier League football on the east coast of Singapore. At the break, Tampines Rovers, the current league leaders, being held goalless by the new boys, the billionaires of the Lion City Sailors. And there are some of the lucky souls that are getting free football, like you watching across the One Play Sports Network or on Singtel and StarHub. They've got the vantage points just outside the ground around this magnificent community complex. You can see everyone doing their aerobics in the background. There's a man who's been doing warming up in the half-time break. Number 4 just had a shot there as he walked away. Huzaifa, he has replaced Hamizan for Tampines in a change at half-time. Referee Lechman just waiting for the signal. Great work. Really enjoyed that half-time show from Duncan and Shukul along with Barbara. And that was the man I was talking about earlier. Did a great preview of this game in the newspaper this morning. Deepan Raj Ganasan. I think his shirt's an early contender for man of the match in this one. I've asked my director if we can have another look at that shirt during a break in play in the second half. Nakamura gets us underway. Mehmedovic. It's Tampines in the black with yellow trim, playing from right to left. Daniel Bennett, who's on a yellow card, remember, had to take emergency defensive action there. The Lion City Sailors in the blue and white, playing from left to right, and they've come out with a spring in their step, the Lion City Sailors, but so have Tampines Rovers. And here's Jordan Webb, options to his right. Tries to play it through to Boris. Great first touch, Boris Kaponovic! Just over the bar. Wonderful link-up play between Jordan Webb and Boris Kaponovic. And the first effort of the second stanza comes to the boys in black. Have a look at this from Jordan Webb. I thought for all the world he'd take the option on the right, which looked the easier one. He had Mehmedovic just hanging off him, but look at this close control and fancy footwork from Boris Kaponovic. Give him an inch, and he'll take a mile. Here's Huzaifa, the substitute. Oh, he got caught out there by Gabriel Quack, and Gabriel Quack on the ball. Nakamura helping out Huzaifa over the top again. More direct there, looking for Boris Kaponovic. Work for Yamazaki to do, and he'll concede the throw. Back underway at Bishan Stadium as well. Balestier Khalsa currently leading Hougang by a 1-0, scored by Zuzu. And as it stands, that win, if Tampines are held here or are defeated, would take Balestier Khalsa top of the table. We had that scenario, didn't we, for a while at the weekend, thinking Geylang might go top, and there are two teams that I don't think anyone considered as title contenders, but if it stays like this here, Balestier Khalsa will be top of the Singapore Premier League tonight, and it will mean we've got our third change at the top in a week. That's a tempting ball over the top. Looking for the run of Song Uyong. Here's Hafiz Noor. Bright start to this second stanza. A goal I fancy in the first 10 minutes of this second half would really spark this game alight. Good start to the second half for Hougang. What was I saying about Balestier Khalsa being top of the table tonight? It's taken Hougang less than 3 minutes to equalise at Bishan. Balestier Khalsa 1, Hougang United 1. The Halls will be liking that. Missed the header there, did Amarul Adli. But Shazwan could get there. Sharul, Hufaisa, Nakamura. Oh, nice. Look the other way and give to Shah. Oh, tried to thread it through to Boris Kaponovic, but the Lion City Sailors hold firm defensively. Here's the unmistakable white-tighted Zulkainen. Trying to get it through to Gabriel Quack, but Daniel Bennett is there. Captain tonight in the absence of the suspended Yasser Hanapi. Jordan Webb now over on this near side to us as we watch the 31-year-old Canadian. Fall shy of 100 Singapore Premier League goals. Be desperate to edge closer to that tonight. Andy Pangetti hardly had a touch in the first half, and he's unfortunately not been able to keep that in this. It's going to take him some time, young Andy Pangetti. Let's not write him off just yet. Let's not forget he got the goal for the Lion City Sailors in that 1-0 draw, but he's just struggling to, I wouldn't say impose himself on the game. He's not really getting the opportunity because not much play is going through him as Jordan Webb gets the decision there and gives that a nice round of applause. There he is with Gavin Lee. Have a look at this bounced off by Zulkanen. Dan Bennett standing off him, which might allow Boris to get it to Shah. Now Boris gets it back. The former Stag Shardan hassling and harrying. What lovely work from Boris Kaponovic though. And that's a fine crossfield pass to find Jordan Webb. Boris waits for the return in the penalty area. Jordan Webb looking for Boris Kaponovic, and it's over the top. And no nonsense defending clears the lines for the Lion City Sailors. You wouldn't say it's a game of the season candidate, but they've had some fine goalkeeping and some fine passing and build-up play. That's a mistake from Daniel Bennett, and the Lion City Sailors run it like a flash. Mopped up really well by Amarul Adley. And now there's some space, and plenty of it as well for Mehmedovic. Jordan Webb's into the area here. Boris waits. Jordan trying to get it onto his right foot. Oh, and there's Huzaifa! Off the crossbar and a wide. Well, both teams have struck the crossbar now. Huzaifa Aziz only been on the pitch for 5 minutes after great work from Mehmedovic and Jordan Webb. This is the closest the Stags have come to scoring. Jordan Webb, lovely through ball. Well, it wasn't a crossbar, was it? My mistake. It was brilliantly saved by Hassan Sunny. Save of the game so far. It happened so quickly. I thought it had to be the crossbar, but it was the keeper that got a touch. And that's why he's Singapore's #1, Hassan Sunny. World-class save. That was struck with some venom and on target by Huzaifa. Song Yong. Look at the space Zulkanen's got here to operate on. Zulkanen to Hafiz Noor. Hafiz Noor, that was a thunderous challenge from Shahrul. Zulkanen, desperate to get the free kick here, isn't he? Not been able to. He'll get second prize there. He'll get the corner. At the other end, having just forced a fine sign off of Hassan Sunny. Huzaifa Aziz is back there helping out, and there's a corner. Well, throughout the course of the last hour, there are people now on multiple tiers enjoying the vantage point of the football, taking advantage of this very unique football stadium at our Tampines hub. Will they see a goal here from Shardan? The Lion City Sailors' first quarter of the second half. Very nearly fell into the path of Gabriel Quack. Ended up coming out to Heikel. And they win another corner. There you can see, I think that's on the third tier maybe. People craning their necks to try and get a view of the action as the Stags get a free kick for the foul by Pengeli on Daniel Bennett. If you are ever visiting Singapore, and it's not exactly on the top 10 list of tourist places to visit, but in terms of illustrating how good a job Singapore do to nurture communities, they do a great job here with the various activities. You can see in the corner of the stadium there, some ladies enjoying some aerobics. There's gyms, swimming pools here, running track on the roof, a massive cinema screen just outside the stadium where people enjoy live sporting events as well as movies, as Gabriel Quack has some tape adjusting to do, so the Sailors momentarily down to 10, but not for much longer. He'll be allowed back on. I'll look at that from Mehmedovic. Great improvisation, and Webb's onto it like a flash. Webb, and Zulkanen gets back, and I think he might be a sad unfortunate there. Jordan Webb, never shy in giving his opinion, both to referee and opposition. Well, he beat Zulkanen and all ends up there, and maybe just that arm that came across, but for me a little unlucky. What it has done is given Tampines their best opportunity from a set piece in the second half so far. There was a push there. Referee's got that right. Fair play to Mr. Lechman. I thought it might have been a bit cheeky by Webb earlier. Now, this is the routine for Tampines Rovers as Hassan Sunny looks on, preparing himself to try and make another world-class save. Mehmedovic or Nakamura? It was Nakamura who chanced his arm with the effort they had in the first half from a set piece. They're looking over to Gavin Lee for instructions, as there's only a two-man wall put in place by the Lion City Sailors. Now, is that going to be enough if Bennett decides to try and curl this in with his right foot. It's Nakamura for the cross. Not the same wavelength as his teammates, and Gabriel Quack straight up the other end will himself win a free kick that on the face of it looked quite cheap. Chardin's there. Chardin spreads it out wide. Just opening up here, but that's too strong for Hafiz Noor. And the chance it goes a-begging. Song Yong, so normally reliable with his weight and placement of passes. Oh, Gabriel Quack might try and chase this down. Gabriel Quack might try and chase this down. And that's a defensive mistake by the Stags. Still Gabriel Quack. He's looking for Hafiz Noor. Instead he finds Amarul Adli. Danger's not cleared yet though. Haikul has to make something special happen. The cross comes in and the Lion City Sailors did. He got that to Song Yong. Jordan Webb now has to be careful. The Lion City Sailors are upping their intensity. This battle between Zulkarnain and Jordan Webb. And Jordan Webb comes out on top that time, as he did up the other end a moment ago. And there's plenty of verbals going on between Jordan Webb and Zulkarnain. Look at that hustle from Gabriel Quack. World-class hustle. Amarul Adli couldn't get there. And Daniel Bennett had to be careful. He's on a yellow and it was in the penalty area. But the cross with the outside of the foot trying to find Hafiz Noor didn't do the business. Meanwhile, Mehmedovic over the top with the runners on rushing. Hassan Sunny has to commit. And the keeper does well to hack it out for a throw. Nakamura inside. Oh, Zaifa might be able to latch onto the scraps here and get it to Boris Kaponovic. Boris does brilliantly. A little touch, just the one black shirt in the area. They've got to find Boris Kaponovic. Hassan Sunny comes and claims really well. Good keeping as the keeper goes down. Along with Abdil. Nothing wrong with the cross, and nothing wrong with that keeping either. But it's left Hassan Sunny and Abdil in a heap. Abdul Qaim back into the starting lineup today. The first change is on the way for the Lion City Sailors. We're about to see Izdin. Izdin Shafiq is about to come on. Now I wonder who'll be making way here. It's an interesting conundrum. We're about to see the board come up, but understandably Aurelia Vidbar there next to the fourth official, just waiting to check that both Abdil and Hassan Sunny are able to continue. Goalkeeping substitute for the Lion City Sailors is Rudy Kairula. Looks like Hassan is going to be okay, and back up on his feet is Abdil as well. So we're going to find out who is about to make way as the Lion City Sailors make their first change. Izdin Shafiq is coming on. The magic board will tell us that making the opposite journey is Haikul Pasha. So, fresh legs of Izdin Shafiq, and a reminder, with all the money they've spent and their long-term plans for dominance in the region, the Lion City Sailors have got such a squad. They've got the likes of Ho Wai Loon and Sharil Ishak on the bench, along with Ikram Rifki. Tajeli Salamat as well, with Sufala Akbar. So a whole host of talent on the bench. Cards still to potentially be played by Tampines Rovers include Safrul Suleiman and Shannon Stephen. His long throw, Shannon Stephen, can always be of use. First touch for the substitute Izdin. Plenty of space over on this near side for Gabriel Quack and Zulkarnain. Gabriel Quack cuts inside on that left deadly left foot. He's a bit ambitious at that pace, trying to play the 1-2. Chardin takes a tumble and Nakamura concedes the free kick. Hougang have turned it round in some style against Balestier Khalsa, as we see Nakamura and Chardin getting in a tangle. Can't argue with that, really. Yes, Balestier Khalsa were 1-0 up at half-time, but now it's Balestier Castle 1, Hougang 2. So they were top of the table, Balestier, but only momentarily. And who else but Stipe Plazabat with his 4th and 5th goals of the season for Hougang. Has given Hougang the lead, and he scored from the penalty spot as well. And that will make, as it stands, Stipe Plazabat the big leader at the top of the goal-scoring charts. That's a lovely through ball. Jordan Webb is onside. Boris waits for it in the middle. Jordan Webb trying to find Boris! Big, bad Boris Kopolovic! Stags 1, Sailors 0, and we've got the goal this game so badly needs. An hour gone, and Tampines, the league leaders, are in front. Well, Gavin Lee has nurtured this partnership between Boris Kopolovic and Jordan Webb, and it's summed up brilliantly there. Look at Jordan Webb's strength and skill and guile. Inside to Mehmedovic, beautifully timed pass and run. Webb gets to the byline, one look up, he knows where Big Boris is, and adjacent to the penalty spot, he strokes it past the helpless Hassan Sunny. Superb team goal. First time with that left foot, and Boris Kopolovic gets his 6th game of the season in all competitions. And the Stags have got their antlers between the air now. I was going to say between their teeth, that doesn't make sense, but they've certainly got their antlers up in the air, the Stags. And a fine goal. And I know it's a cliche I'm not a fan of, that there's such a thing as a good 0-0 draw, but it's certainly been nothing like dull this game, but boy did it need a goal. And coming moments after Aurelio Vidmar made his change, bringing on Isdin for Heiko Pasha. I wonder what he'll pull from the deck now. Andy Pangeli's been anonymous. Will he throw in Ikram Rifki maybe? Sharon Ishak surely, if they're chasing a goal, but they might not need him. They're coming forward themselves here. But Daniel Bennett, absolutely immense, 42 years of age. He wants the free kick there though, Daniel Bennett. He's not going to get it. He needs to get back up at his feet. There's defending to do. But again, Andy Pangeli unable to get involved, and Dan Bennett is now down. 42 years of age, 30 minutes away from playing his 3rd full 90 in 8 days. Well, let's have a look at this, can we, to see exactly what happened with Daniel Bennett, because again, he's a big, tough guy, Dan. He's not the kind of guy, he's not one of these roll around and merchants because he's scraped a fingernail. Well, he was in with Song Young, and the arm went out. He's got him on the throat, and again, I don't think he's a play actor, Bennett. And you have to say, from Song Young's perspective, if there was VAR, it's the kind of thing they look at, wouldn't they? And as we look at Gavin Lee, I think Jordan Webb's just trotting over to have a chat with him. And there is Jordan Webb and Gavin Lee. I was speaking to Tampines Rovers chairman Desmond Ong earlier, and he said that they're Tampines' answer to Rush Hour 2. Now Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker combo. I don't know what that makes Mehmedovic. He could play the Eastern European bad guy. Now let's have a look as instructions are given to Zairudin at some of the fans that are keeping the Singapore Premier League spirit alive and well. And I have to tell you, I've got the best vantage point in the house. If we can scan around the stadium, all those pockets of viewing platforms are absolutely chock-a-block. As the camera pans out, you'll see the stadium is effectively shuttered behind closed doors, but vantage points all over across 3 different levels. And it's great to see so many people keeping the passion of the Singapore Premier League alive. There's people in the library watching on. There's our scoreboard, and as it pans out, even people I can see, difficult to pick them out in the night sky, even people up there at the top on the running track, all enjoying this action as we restart with a drop ball in this magnificent and unique sporting venue of our Tampines hub on the east coast of Singapore. Zairudin Getting it back to Hassan Sunny. Well, the Sailors trailed against Hougang United and battle back for a draw. But they really need to find a way of getting Andy Pangeli involved in this game. Pangeli's not had a sniff so far. Difficult for him. I was chatting to him before the game and he mentioned he's very unfamiliar with playing his football on these synthetic surfaces. Obviously, they are good synthetic surfaces, the best that money can buy, both here and at Jurong East, but they take some acclimatising too. But I think it's a bit churlish to really blame that because he's just not seen that much of the ball, has he? That's Hafiz Noor battling with Sharp. Abdil. Good drive from Abdil. Bings in Sulkanane, who's cutting inside. Well, if they were to go on and win this game, Tampines Rovers, they'd definitely be top of the table tonight. And furthermore, what an 8 days it would be for them. A 2-1 win in Singapore at Jurong West against Hougang United of Myanmar in the AFC Cup Group H last week. Unfortunately, I'm hearing tonight that the AFC Cup is postponed certainly through the rest of March and April, so where that leaves the competition moving forward, I don't know. But some positive football news also today revealed that the China Super League, which was the first football league to shutter, they've confirmed a return date of April the 18th, I believe. So the Chinese Super League, where obviously the COVID-19 crisis first emerged, they're confident enough to name a return date for their professional football league. Let's hope that's a sign that we could be back to normal in the rest of the world, and certainly opening the doors here at the Singapore Premier League grounds again. Here's Zulkarnain. That's a nice ball over the top. And it finds Song Yong, who most uncharacteristically for him can't find the target. But you do get the feeling, don't you, that the Stags may need a second here. There's enough quality in this Lion City Sailors side to muster a goal in 24 minutes. Coming back from 2 down might be a different kettle of fish, though. Song Yong, who hit the post in the first half, remember. Well, what a game it is at Bishan. Balestier led 1-0 at half-time. Trail 2-1 10 minutes into the second half. Now they've got it back to 2-2. Balestier Khalsa 2, Hougang 2. And the big foreign signings for those two teams are the players that have been doing the damage in that one. A brace for Stipe Plazabet to cancel out Zuzu's opener for Balestier. Khalsa will announce when we get the news through who got that equaliser for Balestier. And like here, they've got around about 23 minutes and change to play. Now it's the Lion City Sailors' turn to play the short goal kick routine, which I think in this instance where Tampines are standing off them, I don't disagree with it. They've got some time and space, but even now, look, they're having to work to get it into enemy territory. That test I put on, that if you are going to do that, you've got to get into the opposition half for it to be considered a success. They've managed it this time. Here's Shardan. Yamazaki. Well, that's a loose ball that's come straight to Jordan Webb, and it's Webb and Boris again. It's the Webb and Boris show. Jordan with the trick. It's to Boris! Oh my word, he skied it. Well, you'd have put the house on that being 2-0 to the Stags. Jordan Webb with more tricks than David Copperfield got the ball out to Boris Kaponovic, and he usually puts those firmly in the back of the net. He held himself up brilliantly to stay onside, although it was marginal, and with the same left foot that so convincingly beat Hassan Sunny to give the Stags the lead less than 9 minutes ago. This time he skies it. So as things stand, with, remember, a game to come on Friday before we take the international break, that's still, of course, being observed, just to, I think, give everyone some breathing space to work out what to do. Tanjung Pagar United against Albirex Niigata. who was so impressive in their opening game win against Geylang, but then stuttered a little bit against Balestier, though that result's being made to look better now. That's our game on Friday night, wherever you're watching in the world. We'll be on air at 7:15 as Mehmedovic dogs into the area, he's in the post and it's in! Oh my goodness! Zayrudin Mehmedovic put that one down, and the goal of the week and the goal of the season shortlist. With 20 minutes to play, it's row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. The Stags are turning the Sailors' dream into a nightmare. Gavin Lee emotionless. Aurelio Vidmar now has got to perform miracles. Jordan Webb involved again, but look at this by Zayrudin Mehmedovic. One touch, two touch, third touch, post, goal. Hassan Sunny motionless. And Zayrudin Mehmedovic with his first goal of the season has made it Tampines Rovers 2, the Lion City Sailors 0. And the Sailors now are all at sea. Well, what's the response now from the boys in blue? Oh, just too much on that from Abdul, looking for Gabriel Quack. Yeah, going back, but we were interrupted, weren't we, by that sensational goal, as I was just throwing forward to what's coming up on Friday in the Singapore Premier League. It's just 9:10 in the evening here in Singapore. We'll be on air at 7:15 on Friday at Jurong East Stadium for Tanjong Pagar United against Albirex Niigata. Kick-off at 7:45 p.m. Singapore time. Are they in again here? Jordan Webb on 96 Premier League goals. Can they get it back to him? Huzaifa on the turn straight to Hassan Sunny. Well, Jordan Webb is giving the Lion City Sailors defence nightmares. That's a handball. He's lucky to get away without a yellow card there, Sungu Yong. But the Lion City Sailors look deflated here. And the Stags, well, their antlers really are up in the air now, aren't they? Mehmedovic, Webb, Boris running the show here. And Jordan Webb's come up with this again. So good at holding off defenders, Jordan Webb. Amirul Adli. Ball straight through the middle from Shirul. Huzaifa. Boris now. Well, the Lion City Sailors look stumped here. What's their response going to be? That's a bit casual. Well, Barbara was asking this question to Dipan Raj Ganesan of the New Paper, wasn't she, during the halftime show? Said if they were to go on to lose this game, the Sailors, is it too early to talk of a crisis? Well, you'd have to say it is. They've only played 2 games this season, but nonetheless, I think people expected them for all their season as Home United was a really disappointing one last campaign. With all the signings they've made and the understandable anticipation of young Andy Pangetti's arrival, that they would be a force. But unless they produce a miraculous comeback here, it's going to be 1 point from 6 possible. This is bad news for Tampines. Boris Kapotovic, is it just cramp or is it an injury? Well, remember, the Rovers playing their 9th game of the season here tonight. Let's have a look. Did someone step on him? Or was it just a twist of an ankle on the ground? Well, the signal's coming while we watch that replay from Jordan Webb. They need a change here. So, in terms of attacking options on the bench, I've only got the youngster Danish Sidigar, really, at 2-0 up. I should think it's more likely we might see Shannon Seaven or even Safirul Suleiman. Because Boris Kapotovic, well, Jordan Webb had the signal that he was going to have to come off here, but maybe he's going to be okay. Jordan Webb did the international sign language that means substitution, which, if you're not familiar with it, is one of the dance moves from the hokey cokey. Well, it's not going to be a Tampines Rovers change first. It's going to be a defensive one for the Lion City Sailors. And Tajeli Salamat, who started the game against Albirex, is now replacing the Japanese import Yamazaki. So just the two foreign imports on the pitch now for the Sailors, Pangeli and Song Yu-yong. Well, the way that Tampines Rovers have established their superiority in the first half of this second half, it's going to take something special, you fancy, for them to get back into this. And you have to say, on the evidence of what we've seen through the first 75 minutes, I'm not so sure they're capable of producing what's required to get back into it. Huzaifa, Mehmedovic, there's loads of space out on that far side. If the pass was good, and it was. It's good work from Irwan. It's found Boris. There's space here for Huzaifa. Just gets ahead to it to find Jordan Webb. Well, they're not strolling through the game, but they're in complete control now, Tampines Rovers. It's amazing to watch when goals go in. Obviously, it naturally gives the team that have scored a lift, but it's always interesting to see the immediate response. In this case, from the Lion City Sailors, and there's not been an immediate response from them, has they? They've almost got into their shells a little bit now. It was late from Hafiz Noor and Nakamura, but the referee's let it go. It'll be a throw to the Sailors. So, as the league table stands now, Tampines Rovers would have a 2-point gap if Balestier hang on to claim a point against Hougang. They can still come back and win that game, of course. They'll be at least 2 points clear. A point clear. If the other results don't go that way, that's a stray pass that's gone beyond Boris. After that forward foray from Sharul. Well, Gavin Lee, all the attention pre-season was about Aurelio Vidmar. With all the money they spent, they stole, of course, most famously, Shardan Suleiman from the Stags, the man that the Stags team was built around by Gavin Lee last season when they finished second. But some canny acquisitions, Boris Kapotovic, a rejuvenated Jordan Webb over the last couple of years, and of course, Kyoga Nakamura from Albirex Nagata, and they're coping okay. Minus Shardan. And I know who I'd rather be right now. It's Gavin Lee, because Aurelio Vidmar's got a job on here with the Lion City Sailors. Daniel Bennett looking for Boris. He did well to improvise in that challenge, Abdil, to get the ball. To Jelly. Song Yu-yong. And here's Mehmedovic. The whistle's gone for a late challenge in the yellow card, but surely Tampines Rovers would have rather had the advantage there. They're away with a 3-on-3 as Hafiz Noor goes into the book. Let's look at this. Oh, that was a sliding challenge. It was worthy of a card, and I think the referee, bearing in mind the nature of that sliding challenge, I think just wanted to make sure he booked him for that. You can't be doing that. Reckless. So, of course, we're looking forward to that game on Friday. Hougang United against Albirex. Live Singapore Premier League football at 7:15. Our coverage starts Singapore time, GMT +8. And 7:45 p.m. Singapore time, GMT +8 is the kick-off time. If you're watching around the world on the One Play Sports Network, or indeed across Singapore on Singtel and StarHub, make sure you join us on Friday, because with the international break, ahoy, there won't be any football for anyone anywhere for the best part of 2 weeks after that. And we will, of course, after today's game, bring you a full post-match show with Duncan Elias, Shukul Zainal and Barbara Latimer getting all the reaction from the movers and shakers in this game at full time. You can, if you join us on the One Play Sports Network as well, enjoy the SPL show, Duncan Elias Fronts Ad, released every week to give you all the latest news and action and highlights as they're on the charge again here at the Stags, to the edge of the area. Here's Jordan Webb from a narrow angle! www.JordanWebb's 7th goal of the season.com. He's now up to 97 Singapore Premier League goals. And you can stick a fork in this one, folks. It is done. Stags 3, Sailors 0. The Sailors singing here faster than the Titanic. And Jordan Webb, well, this is the man of the match performance for me. He's had a role in all 3 of the goals. Again, he timed the run brilliantly. It was a lovely pass that put him through as well. Quality work from Nakamura, I think it was. He just picked this out. I might be doing Nakamura an assist he doesn't deserve, because it was the brilliant Irwan Shah who linked up with Webb so well in the Community Shield. But Jordan Webb is up to 97 Singapore Premier League goals, and the Sailors are gone here. And Irwan Shah, who just played a role in that goal, has been replaced by Shannon Stephen. That was a fantastic final contribution from Irwan Shah. Of course, Jordan Webb, 7 goals this season in all competitions, 3 in the Singapore Premier League. Yes, so just to clarify, I got quite excited with that goal. It's www.jordanwebb7thgoaloftheseason.com/all competitions. 3rd in the Singapore Premier League. Well, this has been most impressive by Tampines Rovers in this second half. Huzaifa. It would be the biggest league win of the season so far if it stays like this for Tampines, after a 1-0 win against Balestier and a 2-0 win against Hougang United at the weekend. They were beaten by Brunei DPMM 2-0. So, as you can imagine, Brunei DPMM, always a tough place to go Brunei and play, but the defending champions would be favourites for this if you could guarantee their participation. But they've only managed 1 game so far this season, and to put that into perspective, this is Tampines Rovers 4, so they will have some ground to make up. Lovely play by Irwan Shah. There was a sensational assist from Nakamura to Jordan Webb at the weekend, and this time it's Irwan Shah helping him out. Boris Kaponovic, Mamenovic has already got 1. Jordan Webb, is this going to be goal number 98? Jordan Webb selflessly passes it through, and there's a chance for the 4th, and Shah makes it 4. The Lion City Sailors in complete disarray, and Jordan Webb this time goes from scorer to provider. Webb's had a hand in all 4 goals, and this time it's Shah that finishes. Gavin Lee still emotionless on the sideline. I'd pay $1 to see the face of Aurelio Vidmar. Well, the defence of the Lion City Sailors in this second half has been woeful, and as bad as it's been for them at the back, how good have the Stags been going forward? And even that finish was so cool, calm and collected. And the common denominator in all 4 goals is that man, Jordan Webb. Lovely layoff, lovely twist and a turn from Shah Shahiran. And it's now 4. There's been a change while that celebration was going on. For the Lion City Sailors, they've used all their 3 substitutes now. Sharilishak is on for Song Uyong. This has been a second half demolition job. Lovely work from Gabriel Quack. Run up top as well, looking for Sharilishak, and it looks to have been a tactical move now with Sharilishak on. It looks like Andy Pangeli, is he going to drop a little bit deeper to let Sharilishak play up top? Shazwan hardly had a thing to do in the second half. Well, any 4-0 win's impressive, but if you're Gavin Lee, you've got to be absolutely over the moon with the nature of the victory. All 4 goals have been a sight to behold. And there could be a 5th. What a save, Hassan Sunny from Mamenovic. But it seems a strange thing to say. Hassan Sunny's conceded 4 and he's had a decent game, and that just goes to show how dominant the Stags have been. Look at the space. The Lion City Sailors are all over the place. Mehmedovic has all the time in the world to take 2 touches, pick his spot, and Hassan Sunny with a world-class save. Just to confirm, Shuhei Hoshino with his second goal for Balestier Kalset is the man that levelled that game up. Sounds like a cracker at Bishan. Catch highlights of that with Duncan Elias on the SPL show at the beginning of next week. The weekly roundup show, you can catch it on the One Play Sports Network and the Singapore Premier League and Football Association of Singapore's Facebook channels. Andy Pangeli's gone for an audacious one. Oh, poor Andy Pangeli's not had a sniff of goal all night. And that was good initiative from the 22-year-old Australian youngster. It just sailed wide. Well, now it was Tampanese's turn to take their foot off the gas. Far too casual. A muff pass. And he had a pop, Andy Pangeli, and that would have been some goal. He wasn't far away. Now, Tampines shun the short goal kick routine, and that's why they play it long. And Jordan Webb is there. Look at Boris Kaponovic over on the far side on the left. Jordan Webb, though, finds the through ball, and it's a lovely through ball as well to Shannon Stephen. Eventually, though, it crawls back to Hassan Sunny. Well, I know Barbara Latimer usually interviews a player after the game. I'd like her to interview Aurelio Vidmar, because you can have some sympathies with the Australian. He comes here with a fine CV. The fact they've been inactive in terms of competitive games for 12 days with the fixture cancellations of the Brunei DPMM games and the nature of a 9-team league, meaning, you know, some weeks you're inactive. But as much as you can mention that, you could also equally say that the fact that Tampines have had to play 3 games in 8 days, surely fatigue would set in for them in the second half. It hasn't been the case, and all the credit in the world has to go to Gavin Lee. One thing about Aurelio Vidmar, though, you don't get to where he's got in football or have the standing he has in world football without having the ability to turn things around. Now, what a moment this is for the youngster Danish Surigar, who'll come on to replace Danish. Danish on to replace Boris. A great moment. It's only going to be a small taste of first team football for Danish. One of Singapore's under-19 prospects, one of Tampines Rovers under-19 contingent. And because of the inability or unwillingness, I think, to compete financially with the Lion City Sailors, Tampines do have a squad packed full of young talent. Obviously no Joel Chu tonight, which is unfortunate. He's feeling unwell at home. We wish Joel Chu all the best. But great to be able to bring Danish on in a no-pressure situation here, 4-0 up with 3 minutes to play. Just get a taste of first-team football. Another shrewd move from Gavin Lee. Yeah, going back to Aurelio Vidmar, you don't get to where he's got in football without having the ability to turn things round. But any idea that the Singapore Premier League will be a cakewalk for the Lion City Sailors, changing their name and buying up the top talent, well, that myth has been shattered through their first 2 games of the season. If not against Tanjung United, where they should have won, certainly here against Tampines Rovers, where the Stags, second last season, are good value for the 4 goals. He's just offside here, Jordan Webb, unfortunately. Well, I look forward myself to looking back at the 4 goals. If you're just joining us, make sure you stay with Duncan and Shukul for the post-show, because all 4 goals are absolute beauties. The common denominator in all 4 of them is Jordan Webb. An outstanding performance from a player who's had his critics during his long stint in Singapore. He's certainly not lacking in confidence, and he can sometimes have an arrogant swagger that turns people off. But under Gavin Lee, my word, has Gavin Lee found the key to unlock the best of him. And at 31 years of age, at least another couple of years in the career of Jordan Webb, which can only be good news for Tampines Rovers. To Jelly. Oh, Shazwan spilled it. But with Shannon Stephen guiding him in, he picks it up. Daniel Bennett's now on the deck. And of course, Tampines Rovers have used all 3 substitutes. Well, please let Daniel Bennett complete this game, because that's got to be some achievement in itself at 42, playing 3 90-minute games in 8 days. I'm just trying to recall a golden opportunity that the Lion City Sailors have had in this second half, and I can't really. They hit the post in the first half through Song Yi-yong. Some fine save from Shazwan from a Yamazaki header from a set piece, but other than that, in the first half, it's been one-way stag traffic in the second. Well, going through the results in the Singapore Premier League so far this season, this equals the biggest win by any team. The biggest win up to this point, well, the outright biggest win was Albrecht's beating Genting International 4-0 in the first game of the season. Confirmation there'll be 3 minutes of added time, I'm told. Yes, that 4-0 win for Genting's opponents, Albrecht's, in the first match we covered in this 2020 season, but I think Albrechts were expected to win that. And don't forget, Genting played with 9 men for a large part of that game in the second half. This one, well, I don't think anyone saw 4-0 Tampines Rovers coming. Confirmation there'll be 3 minutes of time added on. The fourth official just had a shot, has got his board up, so 3 minutes of time added on. Now, how's the drama at the Bishan Stadium unfolding? They're into time added on there, and they are still 2 each. There's no question, though. Tampines look set to be the team that everyone's got to chase down. They one blot on their copybook, that 2-0 defeat in Brunei. But in the space of 8 days, they've beaten Hougang United of Myanmar, Tanjung United, and now they're going to be beating the Lion City Sailors, the team that many people thought, with the talent they'd assembled, would be favourites to win this Singapore Premier League. And they start, having only played 2 games, but just with the 1 point. And if you look at the league table as it stands, the Lion City Sailors in 8th, only beneath them are the Young Lions, who are yet to pick up a point. Jordan Webb, Mehmedovic. They can't get a 5th, surely. That would turn this into an outright rout. Well, the turn there from Danish was quite tidy. They get it back to Hassan Sunny. Oh, that's looking for Zulkana, but Jordan Webb is there. Here's Mehmedovic again. Mehmedovic and Jordan Webb had outstanding second halves, and Jordan Webb now is showboating. How embarrassing for the Lion City Sailors. Shah not on the same page as Danish on that occasion. Zulkarnain. That's gone out from Sharalishak. Throw will go to Tampines as we find to the final 90 seconds of the 3 minutes allotted. Only 3 minutes of time added on as well at Bishan Stadium, so that one's seconds away from being a 2-2 draw. Sounds an entertaining game. Mehmedovic gets it to Shannon Stephen. Oh, Shannon Stephen trying to go round the houses, but unable to get past Nakudin. The thoughts of Duncan Elias, Shukul and Barbara Atom are out pitch side with all the post-match reaction coming up immediately after the game. Whether you're watching on the One Play Sports Network around the world or Sington and StarHub, stay with us for that. And don't forget to join us on Friday night, 7:45 p.m. kickoff time, 7:15 pre-show for Tanjung United against Albirex Nagata at Jurong East, the stadium both teams call home this campaign. Zulkarnain. Zulkarnain, he's overzealous there. Shah with the challenge. If they can score one here, it'll be only a consolation. And Tampines will be keeping their 4th clean sheet of the campaign in all competitions in their 9th game. Referee Lechman has seen enough, and I think the Lion City Sailors fans have seen enough as well. A glorious night for Tampines Rovers, who extend their lead at the top of the table, subject to Balestier not stealing a late winner at Bishan. A convincing 4-0 win after a goalless first half where the Sailors did it the bar through Song Yi-yong, and Shazwan was forced into a fine save after Yamazaki's header. Gavin Lee leaves the arena tonight, the far happier of the 2 coaches. The 29-year-old Singaporean has easily in the end got the better of the 53-year-old Vidmar of Australia, and he did it thanks to some glorious second-half play from his team. All 4 goals were works of art. If you're just joining us, make sure you stay with Duncan to enjoy them. Boris Kaponovic on the hour mark after great build-up play from Jordan Webb and a first-time strike that gave Hassan Sunny no chance. And then Mehmedovic with an absolute beauty, Zarudin Mehmedovic, off the post and in from just outside the area. And then it was Jordan Webb's turn to shine. Jordan Webb with his 97th Singapore Premier League goal and his 7th of the season in all competitions. And Jordan Webb, who ultimately had a hand in all 4 of Tampines scores, then went to provider. Just 3 minutes later, when Shah Shahiran twisted and turned after being given the ball by Webb in the area and slid his shot past the despairing Hassan Sunny. Singapore's #1 keeper and a new signing for the Lion City Sailors didn't actually have a bad game, but he still conceded 4, and there are questions to answer for the Lion City Sailors after this. The Stags are top of the league. It's finished here at our Tampines hub. Tampines Rovers 4, the Lion City Sailors 0.
Well, it's fair to say that escalated quickly between Tampines Rovers and Lion City Sailors, the big match of the week here in the Singapore Premier League at our Tampines hub. 0-0 at half-time, but Tampines Rovers totally blew Lion City Sailors away in the second half. 4-0 the final score. Shuko, you're a happy man as a former Stag. What changed in the second half?
You can see at the start of second half, they straight away they want to go and attack. They left off at half-time 0-0, but they have been attacking. So at the start of second half, you can see that straight away they launch an attack. They want to get the goals as early as possible, and you can see they play very well.
Was that the difference in the second half? They were just a bit more clinical, taking the chances.
Yes, I agree. They were more clinical in front of goal. The chances created is a lot more than Lion City Sailors. They definitely put up a good display on the second half.
Well, Hassan Sunny was exposed in the second half as defense just went walkabout. He is pitch side with Barbara Latimer to respond to the defeat.
goalkeeper of the Lion City Sailors. I've got Hassan here with me. Obviously, this was not really an ideal outcome. How do you feel about that?
Of course, we are disappointed with the result. We played some parts of the game well, some parts not. But credit to Tampines Rovers, we can't deny the fact that they have a quality team with good individuals. So what we can do now is just to go back to training and work harder.
So you guys have only had 2 matches so far anyway, and there's 1 point for you. Obviously, again, not too ideal. There was a lot expected of you pre-season. So have alarm bells started to go off, or do you think it's too early to tell?
No, I don't want to give any excuses, but when we played one game against Tanjung Pagar, we had to rest 12 days. And then today we played, and then our next game is on the 4th. So it disrupts our plans and our training plans. But then again, it is what it is. We have to be prepared for next game against Albirex.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up as well. You guys had that huge 12-day break in between your matches, and you've got another one going in. Do you think that that's at all a factor when it comes to performance?
No, not really. Like I said, we lost to a better team today. They punished us easily at the back due to our own mistakes as well. So, like I said, what we can do now is just work harder in training, and it's going to be another long break again. So I hope we will fare better next time.
All right, well done. Well, congratulations anyway. You guys worked hard. Thanks for having on. Duncan, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Barbara. And you do have to feel sorry for Hassan there, a great goalkeeper. He didn't have any chances with the goals. They were just well-taken strikes, weren't they?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's unlucky for Hassan, unfortunately. The goals were just too difficult for him to save. As you can see, all is unreachable for him to save the ball.
It must hurt for a goalkeeper such as Hassan Sani, who, I know every goalkeeper likes to keep a clean sheet, but to lose a big match and to concede 4, he'll be kicking himself.
I don't think he's that kind of individual. I think Hassan is a kind of individual where he will only work on his weakness, and he want to prove and he work hard so that he'll get up and play a good football in the next match.
Big win for Tampines Rovers. Do you have to give credit to Gavin Lee for that halftime change? Did Huzaifa and his inclusion instead of Hamizan, was that a turning point in the way they changed the shape?
Probably. I think that was a good turning point. I think you can see that they are very, very good in possession. They keep spaces wide for the team. And then you can see how they build up to go and attack and score goals.
Well, Boris Kopitovic got the ball rolling in the second half with a great goal. He can't stop scoring, can he? He's pitch side with Barbara, and Mustafic Farudin will help with the translation.
I've got with me Boris and Mustafic. How big is this win?
Kako je velika ova utakmica?
Pa sigurno da nam ova utakmica mnogo znači. Otvorila nam je put. Zasluženo smo pobjedili 4-0 i nastavljamo dalje.
Big win for us. We totally deserve to win this game. 4-0, clean sheet, we move on.
Now, 4-0, what happened? I mean, in the first half, it was 0-0. What changed in the second half?
0-0 je bilo.
Prvo poluvreme je bilo tvrdo. U drugom poluvremenu smo se dogovorili da dodamo gas. Počeli smo jako visoki pressing prvih 15 minuta, što nam je pomoglo da postignemo gol i otvorimo utakmicu na vrijeme.
We started the game a little bit slow, but second half we pushed the gear, and then we tried to win the ball as high as possible on the pitch. So we tried to win the ball in the third. So we did it. We scored the first goal. After first goal, things opened up. Everything became easier for us.
Now, obviously, things got ramped up in the second half, and you guys took the lead by 4 goals in total. Do you think this is kind of like a statement, given that you've officially beat a potential title contender?
Pobjeda 4-0, da li je ovo kao da smo mi potencijalni kandidati za titulu?
Dobro, tek je početak prvenstva, rano je još da pričamo, idemo utakmicu po utakmicu, dugo je prvenstvo.
It's still early to talk about that. It's definitely a good win for us. We take game by game, and then it's still a long way to go. So we just move on from this win, and then we focus on next one.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the chat. Congratulations again. We look forward to seeing you play again.
Thank you.
Duncan, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Barbara. And what you didn't see off the screen was the likes of Madhu, Jordan Webb, and even Chairman Desmond Ong just trying to put off Boris Kopitovic during the post-match interview. Great atmosphere, great to see. And Boris Kopitovic just can't stop scoring.
I think his performance today is top-notch. I think his chemistry with Jordan Webb has been excellent so far. It's good that he's got on the score sheet. I hope that he can score more goals in match to come.
Is it fair to put a comparison with his performance today and on the opposite end, Andy Pengelly for Lion City Sailors, who didn't really get much service today? Boris Kopitovic, I think a man in form and can just get the goals for Tampines Rovers, and he's been proving to be perhaps one of the best signings of the season.
Yeah, I think it's been one of a good signing so far. I'm impressed with his performance. But then again, I think it's unlucky for Andrew Pengelly not getting the service as much as what Boris is getting. I think end of the day, I think it's more of a putting a lot of differences aside, which most good teams will put their difference aside. When it comes to match and training, they will train as a unit. So I think for Lion City Sailors, they're missing that.
Lights going out here at our Tampines Hub. It totally went out on the Lion City Sailors in the second half. It started so brightly for Tampines Rovers, and they started the second half the same way they did in the first half. And great work by Jordan Webb. This is a great team goal, and setting up Boris Kopitovic. Great movement by the striker. He came in from the outside, came inside.
Yes.
Hassan Sani got a touch, but a great finish by Boris.
Yes, I agree. I think today Jordan Webb deserved the man of the match. I rarely see him work attackingly and defensively. Early on, I saw him running to defend at their own half, and this was a good run from their half to go for goal.
A great counter-attacking football. And as I said, you know, Lion City Sailors, they were pushing high and they were leaving gaps at the back. Great pick out, great movement by Boris. And that's 1-0 after an hour of the match. 9 minutes later, Mehmedovic, check this one out. Tight space, turns, and that's a great goal off the post. No chance, Hassan Sani.
That's beautiful. There's nothing much Hassan can do actually. It might hit the post and not go in the goal, but I think it was a nice execute of the technique there. So you can see, just not much power, but finesse right at the goal.
Yeah, defenses haven't wised up to that little fake that he likes to do. He always get the ball here, Mehmedovic. He'll always get the fake. Has done that several times this season. Just can't stop it. And that's 2-0 for Tampines after 69 minutes. 10 minutes later, and a Jordan Webb special. Again, the give and go. Oh, he'll get it eventually. And it just dazzles in the area. Low and hard, pass Hassan Sani, another great team goal.
Excellent move from Kyoga and Jordan Webb keep running down the flanks, and you can see his first touch was good, and bottom corner of Hassan's right, that is quite difficult for Hassan.
That's right, an overload on the right side of the pitch. Jordan Webb making no mistake at all. Nice setup by Irwan, who's playing down the right today. Jordan Webb makes it 3-0 on 79 minutes. 3 minutes later, 82 minutes on the clock. They weren't done yet. Shah Shahiran getting in on the act, and almost similar to Jordan Webb's goal, down the right with the fake ones. Another strike, Hassan Sani beats in again.
It's the same as the third goal. It's the same movement, same shot on the bottom corner of Hassan's right. It was difficult.
Was it nice to see the goals being spread around by Tampines? You usually see Webb or Kopitovic, this time Shah and Mehmedovic getting on the score sheet as well.
Yeah, after all, I think it's a good team effort. I think the understanding of the players, especially on the attacking third, has been very, very good.
Well, Tampines Rovers have not won the SPL title in a very, very long time. After today's performance against a fellow title contender, what do you think? Is this their year?
Well, I'm still going to root for them. I think they have the chance, the ability to be champion this season. I really hope if they can put up this performance consistently every game, I think they are untouchable.
Andy Pengelly had a chance late on. So decent efforts, loose ball.
This is something that Tampines have to worry about, sometimes getting complacent.
Yeah, well, I think they just took the foot off the pedal at the end, but deserved winners. 4-0 over Lion City Sailors. Will the alarm bells be ringing in the away dressing room right now?
Oh, it's too early to tell. I think what we discussed earlier on, it's only the second game for Lion City Sailors. They have more match to play. So I think they have to go back to drawing board. That's one. I think the coach have to get the team again together to gel as one. Like I said, they have to put their differences aside especially when it comes to training and games.
Another long break for them now with the international break coming up. That won't help them.
I'm not too sure. I hope it will help something. Maybe do some team bonding because, I think usually this is what they do back when I'm playing.
Yeah.
When we have a long breaks, we have team bonding. Not specifically playing football, but maybe go on a team building, like go for outward bound, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they can work on that.
Confidence will definitely be an issue for Lion City Sailors, who are now on the wrong end of the table. But for Tampines Rovers, they were top at the beginning, they stay top, and they extend their lead at the top of the AIA Singapore Premier League. It's a great day for the Stags, and they are now top of the league after a very, very impressive performance against the Lion City Sailors.